Chapter 3355. Hearing Goob Beast shout, Qin secretly despised him. Earlier, this Goob Beast was shouting that he wanted to kill his enemy's son with his own hands, and had a look of determination. That heavenly son of Faling is indeed very strong, but he fell into Qin formation. This is Qin trap, so it is not a problem for Qin to capture him. Hearing Goob Beast shout, heavenly son of Faling said with sneer, "So that's how it is. Qin is here. I will capture him and hand him over to my father. I will be an outstanding person among heavenly sons of Faling. I will surely receive great attention." Qin and Xiao Yueme are both amazed. Heavenly son of Faling actually knows that Qin is here. This means that Universe's lost spirit has transmitted Qin's information to these heavenly sons. Heavenly son of Faling already knows that Qin is ambushing him, but he is not afraid at all. Instead, he is very happy because he believes that he can capture Qin. Qin immediately teleported Goob Beast away. Only heavenly son of Faling is left in the first floor. Qin, you are very strong. Go down and kill that arrogant guy. If possible, do your best to beat him half to death. Leave the matter of harvesting his life to me. Goob Beast felt a lot more relieved after returning. At least he won't be trapped in that place fighting heavenly son of Faling. He is dead for sure. Qin said, "These heavenly sons of Faling are indeed very strong. We must eliminate them as soon as possible. Otherwise, if they grow up, they will be a great threat." Qin immediately activated the formation. The energy gathered inside the bloodline heavenly pattern box suddenly burst out and rushed out from several directions and converged at one point. Heavenly son of Faling furiously shouted, "Qin, if you attack me, you will only anger my father. Universe's lost spirit created you all just for an experiment. If you die, he can still create more. Only those he can't create, he will feel pity. For example, me." Qin laughed loudly and then activated the formation with all his strength. "And me? I am also someone he can't create." Goob Beast also shouted. Energy surged inside the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. It seems like the entire pagoda is about to explode. However, Qin was able to control the energy very well. He kept it within a certain range and did not rush out of the nine suns heaven-raising pagoda's outer walls. Boom, boom, boom. Muffled explosions reverberated throughout the first floor. The energy fluctuations were all absorbed by the bloodline heavenly pattern box, not leaking out. Ancient beasts and Xiao Yueme can clearly see that heavenly son of Dharma spirit's body is being pierced by the violent thunder formed from extremely strong energy. It is as if the thunder wants to tear heavenly son of Dharma spirit's body apart. However, heaven son of Faling's physical body was very strong, and his recovery ability was shocking. Even if he was torn and pierced, he could heal quickly. The scariest thing was that this Fa Ling Tianzi did not feel any pain at all. He just stood there and endured the powerful energy impact. "This guy, doesn't he feel pain?" Qin said with a frown. "I have to say, the lost spirit son of heaven created by the universe's lost spirit is indeed something. He is quite strong. Brother, what should we do next? Are you going to play? Will there be any danger?" Xiao Yueme suddenly became somewhat worried. "Qin, do you want to join forces?" At this moment, Ancient Beast could see just how strong son of Faling's body was. No wonder he couldn't injure the other party's body, no matter how hard he tried. Qin is pondering, because he discovered that this heavenly son of Dharma spirit's body seems to have some signs of returning to the beginning. That's why it looks so strong. However, it is still very far from true returning to the beginning. This means that the universe's lost spirit has also touched upon this aspect. It can be seen that after so many years, the universe's lost spirit has conducted many kinds of experiments and obtained great results. This might be the strongest body created by the universe's lost spirit. That's why they use this as the standard to create a large group of lost spirit heavenly sons. The universe's lost spirit has conducted many kinds of experiments. They created many people who want to transcend the universe. For example, Nine Heavens Lost Spirit, Barbarian Emperor, Phoenix Old Ancestor, and so on. I will deal with this guy myself. Qin Yun took out Barbarian Emperor's saber. From his point of view, Barbarian Emperor's peak state power should be more or less the same as this Heavenly Son of Dharma's spirit. The only difference is that Heavenly Son of Dharma's spirit's body is a lot stronger. However, Barbarian Emperor's saber can cut apart his body. Qin Yun arrived at the first floor and arrived in front of the Heavenly Son of Dharma's spirit. Qin Yun, you have finally appeared. Heavenly Son of Dharma's spirit stared at Qin Yun, his eyes suddenly filled with fanaticism. Father talked about you before. He said that you're the most perfect so far. He also said that he couldn't create such a perfect person himself. This is all thanks to nature. Is that so? What else did he say? Qin Yun asked. He has always been thinking whether or not he can be considered as the creation of the universe's law spirit. Now, the universe's law spirit said that the reason he could grow up to this point is all because of nature. Indeed, it is because he was very weak from the beginning. It took him many years to grow to this stage. And no matter if it is Heavenly Son of Dharma's spirit, Barbarian Emperor, or Nine Heavens law spirit, they were born very powerful. Father also said that he is only the universe's law spirit and not the entire universe. And you grew up in this universe under the influence of nature. Although you are very strong and can be considered perfect, the humans he created can definitely exterminate you. This proves that he is even more brilliant than the universe's nature. Heavenly Son of Dharma's spirit said, Do you want to prove this matter now? Qin Yun caressed the saber's body and said with a smile, That's right, although Father believed that we are no match for you. So he went into seclusion to create even stronger humans. This is actually unnecessary, because I am enough to exterminate you and prove that he is the most brilliant creator. Heavenly Son of Dharma's spirit finished speaking and walked towards Qin Yun step by step. Heavenly Son of Dharma's spirit is incomparably meticulous. He walked over with his head held high and chest puffed out. He is neither fast nor slow. It is as if he could kill Qin Yun with one palm strike if he walked over. His expression is filled with incomparable arrogance and contempt. Qin Yun shook his head. He channeled the lawless power into the saber and hacked several thousand times towards Heavenly Son of Dharma's spirit in front of him. In the blink of an eye, this big guy has been chopped into minced meat. Each piece is very evenly distributed. Soon after, a powerful soul floated out with shock, anger, and fear and let out a furious roar. Die! Qin Yun released supergravity. At the same time, he released bloodline heavenly rune flame and charged up and down. Moreover, he went back and forth several times and completely burned Heavenly Son of Dharma's spirit to ashes. Heavenly Son of Dharma's spirit's soul was devoured and refined by Qin Yun's creation, Soul Heavenly Cauldron. It's not very strong. Qin Yun looked at the pile of white ash, then returned to second floor and said to Xiao Yuemei with smile, Yuemei, start working. Transform Xiao Ma into Xian Qingning. We will slaughter Heavenly Son of Dharma's spirit. Gu Shou did not say a word. He thought that he and Qin Yun could fight evenly, but now it seems that he won't even be able to hold on for half an hour and will turn into ashes. Qin Yun, I will lure them over. With your strength, it shouldn't be a problem for you to fight them one-on-one, right? This way we can save some time. Chapter 33:56. Qin Yun arrived at the second floor and helped Xiao Yuemei transform the ancient beast into Xian Qingning. Xiao Ma, do you really have the confidence to lure those large men here? Xiao Yuemei suddenly feels that these words are very strange. Of course I can. Xian Qingning transformed ancient beast's eyes are flowing with charm, causing Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei to feel somewhat uncomfortable. After the ancient beast was sent out of the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda by Qin Yun, his walking posture is very coquettish. If Xian Qingning saw this, she would probably want to slap him to death. Xian Qingning is not like this. After the ancient beast transformed into her appearance, it actually has this kind of temperament. It is unknown whether it is because the ancient beast's heart was originally like this, or if it was stimulated by something. After the ancient beast left, Xiao Yuemei asked, Brother, you killed that Dharma spirit heavenly son just now. Did you get any harvest? No, I just got his soul. Qin Yin took out spirit creation heavenly cauldron and said, this guy's soul is very strong and very special. What's special about it? Xiao Yueme asked. I can refine his soul and then absorb it. I can also improve myself. Qin Yin said, let me say it like this, his soul must have been cultivated by absorbing divine sun blood seed liquid. Xiao Yueme took out her small mirror and said, can I look at it? Oh, why are you looking at it? Qin Yin took out spirit creation heavenly cauldron. Xiao Yueme's mirror can copy soul. It is very mystical. I want to see if I can dig out something from that guy's soul. Xiao Yueme used her small mirror and pointed it at the soul floating out of the spirit creation heavenly cauldron. That Dharma spirit heavenly sun soul is very difficult to destroy, but Qin Yin has a way. He can use soul loss do. I have some use for collecting these guys' souls. Xiao Yueme giggled. Not long after, the ancient beasts arrived. What caused Qin Yin and Xiao Yueme to be amazed is that he actually managed to lure 4 Dharma spirit heavenly sons. The ancient beast who was transformed into Xin Qingning walked into the first floor of the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda while twisting his waist. From Xiao Yueme's second floor, Qin Yin carefully observed those few Dharma spirit heavenly sons. They are not strong men. They are very different from the Dharma spirit heavenly son from before. Moreover, when these Dharma spirit heavenly sons look at the ancient beasts, their eyes are filled with fanaticism, as if they have never seen a woman before. What's wrong with these guys? Why are you so infatuated with ponies? Qin Yin was puzzled. Maybe the goddesses of the 9 heavens like Xian Qingning are very attractive to them. Brother Ma can transform into the aura of Xian Qing, congealing 9th heaven's goddess. In addition, he is a transcending divine space realm expert. He is equivalent to a formidable 9th heaven's goddess. This will incite Fowling Heavenly Sun's desire to conquer him even more. Xiao Yueme said, Yueme, you understand men very well. Qin Yin said with laugh. As soon as the ancient beast entered the first floor, Qin Yin immediately teleported him to the second floor. The first layer of the barrier had already been opened. This time, Qin Yin did not activate the offensive array because the bodies of the Dharma spirit sons were very strong. The attacks of the array could not harm them at all. Just as Qin Yin was about to leave the stage, he saw 2 handsome heavenly sons take out a large array disc and place it on the ground. Then, they quickly sat cross-legged on the array disc. A barrier immediately appeared on the array disc, protecting them. Qin Yin suddenly recalled that this Huo Ling Imperial City's powerful barrier was modified by someone in the dark to become so strong. In other words, the 2 heavenly sons who took out the array disc had already sensed that a barrier had been opened, and they are now breaking the formation. Where did Qingning go? One of the heavenly sons who was still standing, he was relatively short. Although his face was long, he was also quite handsome. He said somewhat angrily, Is Qingning playing with us? We're trapped in a very strong barrier. Even if I join hands with Old 5, we won't be able to break it in a short period of time. The one who spoke is a delicate youth. Old 4, Old 5, aren't you guys very powerful in the Tao of inscription formations? How do we get trapped? You 2 are truly useless. Another youth with a cold expression said angrily. Qin Yin has been looking at the 2 array discs. The power released by the array discs is very similar to the power of the divine sunblood seed. Those 2 array discs are very powerful. He must obtain them. That Old 4 only closed his eyes and did not say anything. Old 5 opened his mouth and said, You will die very soon. Just as he finished speaking, Qin Yin appeared on the first level. Second and third brother did not have an array disc, so when Qin Yin appeared, they were immediately pressed down by a very strong supergravity and were forced to kneel on the ground. As for fourth and fifth brother who are sitting cross-legged on the array disc, they are completely fine. Furthermore, their expressions are indifferent. Qin Yin raised the saber in his hand and chopped up the bodies of second and third brother in a few moves. Then, he burned them to ashes and finally captured their souls into the soul creation heavenly cauldron. You are Chinyan? Fourth brother said. Fourth brother, fifth brother, you guys are at the back, but your abilities are higher than the three good-for-nothings in front of you. Chinyan looked at fourth and fifth brother who were sitting inside the array disc and did not know how to attack. The protective barrier released by the two array discs was actually so powerful that he could not do anything about it. You can't kill us, fourth brother said, but we can't kill you either. If this goes on, it will be disadvantageous for you. You should be here to take the Divine Sun Bloodseed Crystal, right? The result of you wasting time with us is that you will lose, because we still have reinforcements. Fifth brother said. Fourth and fifth brother, these two fouling heavenly sons are rather intelligent. Don't speak in absolute terms. I might be able to kill you. Chinyan said. Then come and kill us. The corner of fourth brother's mouth slightly rose. He laughed with full confidence. I indeed can't kill you now, but sealing you is not a problem. Chinyan took out the outer shell that sealed the ancient beast. Seeing this outer shell, the ancient beast is immediately filled with disgust. Seeing this outer shell, fourth and fifth brother can no longer laugh. Their expression gradually froze. It is clear that they know how powerful this outer shell is. Let's go in. Chinyan used spatial teleportation technique and teleported them along with the two array discs inside. Chinyan drilled a small hole in the outer shell. Through this small hole, he and Space Little Queen Ant can move things inside. Among the 5 fouling heavenly sons, 3 have been killed and 2 have been sealed. The process can be considered smooth. Chinyan arrived at the second floor and released Xian Qingning. After Xian Qingning saw the ancient beast, she became completely stunned. The ancient beast was now exactly the same as her, but it was extremely charming, its entire body releasing a type of vulgar aura. Can you turn him back? Xian Qingning knew that the beast was very strong, so she didn't dare to speak too loudly. Xiao Yuemei waved her hand and turned the ancient beast back into a horse. Don't. It feels pretty good to become a woman, Gushou said dejectedly. I just entered the state. Why did I change back? Xian Qingning was much more relieved. She was afraid that the ancient beast would use her appearance to do some eye-opening things. There are cosmos gods and godson descendants in the city, Xian Qingning said. They're all small fries. Chinyan was not afraid at all. I have to take down Hua Ling Emperor's city as soon as possible. Son of Heaven Fa Ling and the others still have reinforcements. $_title. Follow Yuri literature on WeChat chatting about life and looking for a bosom friend. Chapter 33:57. Chinyan was not afraid of those reinforcements. He just wanted to achieve the goal of this trip as soon as possible. He wanted to take the resources under Hualing Imperial City and then sweep the other cities of Hualing Empire. He mainly didn't want to be delayed by those reinforcements and waste his time. Now that time was tight, everything had to be done quickly. In the great era of the Divine Wasteland, there were huge changes every day. Who knew if another powerful force would appear tomorrow? It wasn't only Chinyan. Many powerhouses of the major factions realized that the universe was gradually losing control. The universe's Dharma spirit no longer had the heart to supervise the operation of this universe. After all, he was just a supervisor. In the end, the operation of the universe was still the operation of the most fundamental power in the universe. In other words, the order of the universe would become more and more chaotic, and there would be many variables. This was especially so for those beings that were once too powerful to be killed. They were sealed away, and once the universe lost control, these things would definitely appear. The universe had been operating for many years. If something suddenly happened, it would not adjust immediately. Instead, it would take some time. For the vast and ancient universe, a period of time meant a very, very long time. Who knew what else was hidden in a universe that had been operating for so many years? Every universe epoch would produce powerful life forms, and most of them would eventually be sealed. This was extremely terrifying. Those organizations that had once dominated the universe, such as the 4 great empires and the Taisha organizations, were all powerful in this universe epoch. They might have been very weak in the past epoch. Especially now, their cultivation had regressed, and they were unable to break through. The ones who were most afraid of losing control of the universe were none other than these large factions. Therefore, they placed their hopes on the universe's Dharma spirit. They hoped that after the universe's Dharma spirit transformed into a human, it would control the divine wilderness and provide them with the safest protection. This was what Qin Yun learned from the memories of the heavenly sons of Dharma spirits. It had to be said that this move was indeed able to make the new Genesis humans wholeheartedly follow the universe's Dharma spirits. The universe's lost spirit wants to control the divine desolate of the heavens and even fight with the nine-yang lost spirit for control. Maybe it really wants to use all the power of the divine desolate of the heavens to resist some danger. After Qin Yun obtained this useful information from the memories of the few heavenly sons, he felt somewhat uneasy. No matter what, we still have to act according to plan. If that's the case, then I need to gather a large amount of resources. Qin Yun could only wait for the ninth divine son to appear before making other plans. Xiao Yuanmei has already entered the divine inscription mountain. The divine inscription mountain came out from Xian Qingning's battleship. Next, Qin Yun and the ancient beast walked out of the battleship. There were many Hualing imperial cities' powerhouses waiting outside. After all, those few Dharma Ling heavenly emperors were lofty existences in heavenly emperor Hualing and the others' eyes. Regardless of whether it was strength or status, it was sufficient to make them kneel and lick. Qin Yun came out wearing a mask. When he saw heavenly emperor Hualing, he walked over step by step. "Sir, what can I do for you?" When heavenly emperor Hualing saw this masked man coming over, he only felt that it was strange, but he still asked very respectfully. The aura released by Qin Yun was very strong. Everyone could sense that he was beyond the divine space realm. Therefore, Hualing's celestial emperor and the Hualing Empire's generals were shivering at this moment. "I want to kill you." Qin Yun deliberately used a hoarse voice. After he finished speaking, his fist landed on heavenly emperor Hualing's body. Boom! At the same time, Qin Yun's fist broke through heavenly emperor Hualing's body. Berserk power erupted from within heavenly emperor Hualing's body, tearing it apart. Heavenly emperor Hualing died just like that. The heavenly emperor who once moved unhindered in the Hualing cosmos was actually blown up by a person with one punch. What was gratifying was that before heavenly emperor Hualing died, he knew who killed him. It was Qin Yun. Furthermore, it was Qin Yun who secretly transmitted his voice to him. But so what? His body and soul were directly torn to shreds. He did not even have the chance to reincarnate. Qin Yun took out a saber and, without saying a word, he fiercely chopped at the dozens of marquises. These people who did not surpass the divine space realm were indeed the top batch in their realms. Actually, with so many of them, even if they faced someone who just surpassed the divine space realm, they could still hold on for a while. However, Qin Yun was not an ordinary person who surpassed the divine space realm. He was at the origin returning realm. His fleshly body was powerful like a bottomless pit. Furthermore, he also had a very powerful divine saber in his hand. This group of Hualing Empire's top experts could only be harvested like crops in front of Qin Yun. Xiao Yuanmei originally thought that she and Qin Yun could join hands to block this group of Empire's upper echelons, so that others could go over and defeat the army. But when she saw this scene inside the divine inscription mountain, she realized that it was not necessary. There was no need to block. Qin Yun alone could sweep through. This is the divine king of divine desolate. The power of a single person can sweep through the entire empire. Qin Yun killed along the way, killing many of the empire's top experts, and then destroyed the empire's barrier. At this time, the army inside the divine inscription mountain rushed out and began to encircle the Hualing Empire's army. Thousands of bald experts also rushed out of the heavenly law altar and rushed towards the center of the Hualing Emperor City. The finishing work inside the Emperor City was handed over to Xiao Yuanmei and others. Gushou did not follow Qin Yun. Qin Yun let him listen to Xiao Yuemei's command and be in charge of killing the Empire's experts. Brother is too cautious. He is so powerful, yet he still wants me to go out. Not to mention that Xiao Ma is here. Xiao Yuemei, who is inside the divine inscription mountain, looked inside and saw that there are still many people who are very idle. For example, Imperial Demon Yao and Nine Sun Kuompong. They do not need to fight at all. Right now, only the Exotic Cat Race Army and the Fire Tribulation Crazy Race Army are fighting. Furthermore, a few Divine Moon Clan's kings are leading small teams to enter the battlefield to kill the leaders. It can be said that they are majestically sweeping away the Hua Ling Empire's army. The other side will not be able to hold on for long before they are completely defeated. After Qin Yun became invisible, he released his formidable mental power and paid attention to the movements around him. From the memories of Fa Ling Heavenly Sun's soul, he knows where the divine Sun Blood Seed crystal is hidden. It is right under the Emperor's city. There's a small divine sun core under the Emperor's city. This divine sun core grew along with the treasure land. The divine sun blood seed crystal is located inside the core, and it is very big. The cosmos god race and divine sun descendants are inside the core, absorbing the power of the divine sun blood seed crystal to cultivate. Little brother Qin Yun, where are you going? Tian Dao Zi's voice suddenly resounded in Qin Yun's mind. This guy used to call him Master Qin, or Divine King. Now that he has become stronger, he actually calls him little brother. It can be seen how arrogant Tian Dao Zi is now. The group of bald experts who ran out from the Heavenly Law altar have already dispersed. They are currently searching for something inside the city. The people of Hua Ling Emperor City have already fled the city. Even if they are powerful, they can't stop the army. Other than escaping, they have no other choice. Qin Yun did not reply to Tian Dao Zi. He pretended as if he did not hear anything and continued heading towards the entrance of the Divine Sun Core. Chapter 33:58. Qin Yun is still very cautious because Tian Daozi suddenly appeared without even greeting him. He could have contacted Shimanda Zhuang and Pippi Pig, but he ignored them. Tian Daozi called him little brother just now. It is clear that he became arrogant after becoming stronger. Also, Qin Yun is extremely dissatisfied with Tian Daozi, because when Tian Daozi appeared this time, he brought along many bald experts. This was originally nothing, but after those bald experts entered Hua Ling Emperor City, they almost fought with the Fire Tribulation Mad Race and the Cat Ear Race Army. Fortunately, ancient beasts were there to scare them all away. Qin Yun can feel that Tian Daozi has changed a lot. If he cannot be sure that Tian Daozi is safe and reliable, he would not bother with him. Attacking Hua Ling Emperor City was planned by Qin Yun before. Many people know about this, including Pippi Pig and Shimanda Zhuang. When Xiao Yuemei came back and went to the Divine Inscription Mountain, Pippi Pig and Shimanda Zhuang must have known about it. They must have contacted Tian Daozi to ask for his help. Heavenly Dao Altar appeared and frantically attacked Hua Ling Emperor City. But in the end, they did not succeed in breaking Hua Ling Emperor City's barrier. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei sneaked into Hua Ling Emperor City and successfully broke the barrier. After Tian Daozi's group of bald experts came in, not only did they not help exterminate Hua Ling Empire's army, they even wanted to drive Xiao Yuemei and the others out. At that time, Qin Yun realized that something is wrong. The group of bald experts under Tian Daozi seemed to be after something. It was very likely that they were after the divine Sun Blood Seed crystal hidden underground. Qin Yun continued to move forward. Moreover, he is even more careful to conceal himself, not letting Tian Daozi sense him. Tian Daozi knows that Qin Yun is inside the city, so he released a strange mental power that only Qin Yun can sense and convert it into sound. Big brother Qin, don't be like this. There is a small misunderstanding between us. We can talk about it properly. Tian Daozi's voice once again transmitted into Qin Yun's mind. Although Qin Yun received it, he did not expose his position. In this aspect, Tian Daozi is still inexperienced. He still did not reply. Even if he replied, Tiandaozi would not sense it. It was our fault before. I already controlled them in time. Those guys are really not my subordinates. I can only order them around temporarily. Tiandaozi also knows that the conflict between those bald experts and Xiao Yuanmei has angered Qin Yun. Qin Yun received this information from the magic mirror. When Xiao Yuanmei saw the baldies' overbearing attitude towards them, she immediately transmitted this information to Qin Yun. Who are they? Qin Yun asked. They're all your father's subordinates. They're called Natural Law Divine Army or something. Tiandaozi bitterly smiled and said, Master Qin, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have hidden this matter from you. My father, Qin Long? Qin Yun was very alarmed. One had to know that his father and mother were both in the mysterious ancient land. Previously, he had only heard from the Heaven Destroyer that his parents were doing well after entering the ancient land. All these years, he had lost contact with the ancient desolation, so he did not know what was going on there. It's not Qin Long. It's the former heavenly Tao, Tiandaozi said. He's not my father, said Qin Yun. Not your father? But I heard from him that you call Heaven Destroyer Grandpa. If he is Heaven Destroyer's son, then you must be Heavenly Tao's son. I am also Heavenly Tao's son. I am older than you, so calling you little brother is not excessive, right? Tiandaozi said. That's because I didn't understand the situation clearly before. Later on, Heaven Destroyer and I called each other the same generation. In other words, Heavenly Tao is my junior, and you are my grandson. You calling me Master Qin is a matter of course. Qin Yun immediately explained. Of course, this is all nonsense, but he really doesn't want to recognize Heavenly Tao as his father. All right, Master Qin is Master Qin. Heavenly Tao has arrived. He is now transformed into a person and is at the Heavenly Law altar. Those baldi are his subordinates. Tiandaozi said again. Do you want to meet him? Not now. Wait until I finish my business. Qin Yun is very cautious. Even though Heavenly Tao, Heaven Destroyer, and himself are the same kind of existence, he has never had any contact with Heavenly Tao. However, he didn't have much contact with Heavenly Tao. It was only indirect contact, or he heard about Heavenly Tao from other places, so he doesn't have a deep understanding of Heavenly Tao. Qin Yun knows that Heavenly Tao is not dead. His soul is still there, and he is in the ancient desolate. Now he has appeared in the divine desolate and cultivated a powerful body. Therefore, he doesn't want to meet Heavenly Tao without understanding the situation clearly. Master Qin, Old Man Heavenly Tao wants the things under Hualing Imperial City. He said that they are very important to him. Tiandaozi is anxious. They're also very important to me. Also, you should know that if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have been able to enter this city. Now that I have broken through more than half of Hualing Imperial City, this city is equivalent to falling into my hands. Shouldn't you wait outside the city? Qin Yun's words are very impolite. He painstakingly took down this city. Actually, it wasn't too hard, but no matter what, this city is now his. The Heavenly Tao didn't even inform him in advance and wanted to take away the treasures under the Imperial City. This made him very unhappy. Tiandaozi, quickly make those baldies withdraw from Hualing Imperial City. Otherwise, I'll kill every single one of them. Before I meet with Heavenly Tao, I don't want to have any conflict with him, but I have a bottom line. I hope you don't touch the bottom line of my tolerance. Qin Yun transmitted his voice to Tiandaozi. All right, I'll inform Old Man Heavenly Tao. Tiandaozi immediately contacted the Heavenly Tao. Soon, tens of thousands of bald experts left Hualing Imperial City at lightning speed. Qin Yun can see that the faces of a few bald experts are filled with displeasure, but they still have to retreat. Tiandaozi is very clear that Qin Yun will do what he says. If they don't retreat, they will definitely be killed by Qin Yun. Master Qin, Old Man Heavenly Tao said that if you obtain the Divine Sun Bloodseed Crystal, you must go and talk to him. He is willing to exchange with you. Tiandaozi said. At that time, he will also apologize to you and resolve the small misunderstanding from before. We'll talk about it when the time comes. You guys wait outside, Qin Yun said. If you need help, you must immediately speak up. Old man Heavenly Tao said that there are many powerful fellows in this city. You might not be able to deal with them. Tian Daozi said again. Qin Yin did not care about Tian Daozi anymore. He also found the entrance. Within the imperial palace, there's a black pit that is several hundred meters wide. The bottom cannot be seen, and a cold aura would occasionally rush out from below. This entrance is so obvious that Tian Daozi and Heavenly Tao definitely know about it, but they did not go down. This means that it is truly dangerous below. Qin Yin also knows of the danger, but he has no choice but to go down. Only by taking away the divine sun blood seed crystal and killing those cosmos gods and divine sun descendants below could he take away the divine universe golden rock below the imperial city. Chapter 33:59. When Qin Yin fell down, he remained invisible. Furthermore, he became even more invisible. After all, he was deep in the enemy's lair, and there was still the divine sun blood seed crystal below. He had to be careful. Is the divine sun blood seed crystal the same as the divine sun blood seed? Could it be that the blood seed crystal evolved from a blood seed? Qin Yin is filled with doubts. At the same time, he is looking forward to seeing the divine sun blood seed crystal. Be it Tian Dao or Fouling Tianzi, they were all here for the divine sun blood seed crystal. Behind Son of Heaven Fa Ling was the universe Fa Ling who asked them to come. This meant that the divine sun blood seed crystal was very important. Since it sounded like a divine sun blood seed, Qin Yin believed that the blood seed crystal was an evolved version of the divine sun blood seed. Be careful, old brother Taisher suddenly reminded. Qin Yin had always been careful, but he did not sense anything. He asked in puzzlement, Brother Taisher, is there a problem? I sense a very special aura that makes me feel uneasy. There are no enemies near you, but that aura is very dangerous. Old brother Taisher said, It's the aura of a living creature? Qin Yin tried to sense it seriously again, but he did not sense anything. I can't explain it, but the deepest part of my consciousness is filled with fear towards this aura. Old brother Taisher said, Qin Yin, you must be careful. Old brother Taisher was a magic spirit, and a very ancient Taisher magic spirit at that. Although old brother Taisher was a clone, he was not much different from Taisher. He only lacked a large portion of his memories. Qin Yin remembered old brother Taisher's words. He guessed that the dangerous aura did not come from humans. It was most likely from the divine sun blood seed crystal. But why was it below Hualing Imperial City? After entering the deep pit, he slowly descended for a period of time. Finally, he approached the core of the little divine Sunday, truly miraculous. The depths of this treasured land can actually nurture a little divine sun core. Don't tell me you want to form a small divine sun underground? Qin Yin had already arrived on the surface of the tiny divine Sunday. It was light blue in color and had an aura similar to the celestial universe divine Sunday. This kind of super treasure land can indeed nurture such a big thing. After all, there are 8 super huge divine suns in the sky. Old brother Taisher said. Previously, there had been a mysterious water moon beneath Daluo Imperial City. Hualing the Arch Cities was even more impressive. It was a small core of the sky universe divine sun, but it had yet to form a true divine sun. Qin Yin used the mysterious penetration divine ability and easily entered the little divine sun's core. However, the moment he entered, he was bound by an extremely powerful force. It was as if this force was surrounding him from all directions. It was like a very powerful giant palm, tightly grasping him in its palm, squeezing his bones and muscles together. Fortunately, his body was very strong, especially after he released the power of the heavenly heart, which filled his entire body. His body did not feel any pain from the pressure of that power. A faint blue glow shone down from the little divine sun's core. Qin Yin floated in midair and saw a blue rhombus-shaped crystal. This blue rhombus-shaped crystal was as tall as a person. Compared to the divine sun blood, it was very large. One had to know that the largest divine sun blood seed was only the size of fist. Is this the divine sun blood crystal? Was it formed by the divine sun blood seed? Why is it so big? Qin Yun's body is still bound by a force. He is frozen in midair, unable to move his body. The space inside the little divine sun's core is also very spacious. The blue rhombus-shaped crystal is floating in the air, and below it, a large group of people are sitting cross-legged on the ground. They are absorbing the blue energy. When Qin Yun entered, they all opened their eyes to take a look. When they saw that Qin Yun was frozen in midair, they continued to close their eyes and absorb the blue energy released by the crystal. Looks like these guys have set up a very powerful barrier. Qin Yun closed his eyes and tried to sense the barrier, but he could not sense anything. It's a barrier, but it's very special. It's formed with a special power. Old Brother Taisher said, "If my guess is not wrong, it should be a barrier formed by the powerful soul of the Divine Sun descendants." Qin Yun is stunned. The soul of the Divine Sun descendants turned into runes? There are many souls of the Divine Sun descendants here. You can't see them. Old Brother Taisher said, "Impossible. It's not like I haven't dealt with the descendants of the Divine Sun before. Not only can I sense the souls of these guys, I've also captured many of them." Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye, but he couldn't see anything. "I can't see it either. I can't sense it either. However, my intuition is telling me that the souls of the Divine Sun descendants entered the Divine Sun blood seed crystal and underwent a huge transformation. The aura produced by this transformation is enough to make me feel fear." Old Brother Taisher said, "Qin Yun, you must think of a way to break the barrier, otherwise we will all be finished. This place is indeed very dangerous." Qin Yun still underestimated the power of the Divine Sun blood seed crystal. The people sitting there should be Cosmos God race. Old Brother Taisher said again, "I remember the aura on their bodies. Divine Sun descendants and Cosmos God race, people fusing together. What is the process of their fusion? Don't tell me they have to do it in this place." Qin Yun is currently mobilizing the lawless power to continuously strengthen his body. He wants to break through the power that is imprisoning him. After trying for a period of time, he still gave up. This kind of power doesn't come from the soul of the Divine Sun descendants. The soul of the Divine Sun descendants transformed into runes to form a barrier and slowly extracted the energy of the Divine Sun blood seed crystal. Only then did the barrier become so powerful. Qin Yun said, "The multicolored light released by the Divine Sun blood seed crystal shines all around, causing different degrees of refraction. This means that there are indeed many things that cannot be seen." Just as Qin Yun is bitterly thinking of a method, Old Brother Taisher said, "Qin Yun, I suddenly thought of a method." "What method?" Qin Yun promptly asked. "There might be a risk." "Not your risk, but Malur's risk." Old Brother Taisher said, "Malur's mental power is very special. Her soul is also very mystical. Maybe her mental power can disperse the runes formed by the soul of the Divine Sun descendants." Qin Yun also thought of Malur before, but he needed her to come out. If she came out and was imprisoned like Qin Yun, it would be very dangerous. Qin Yun tried to extract the power of many Divine Sun of the Nine Sun Divine Soul, but he still couldn't break free. The main reason is that this kind of energy can be absorbed. The one absorbing the energy is the mysterious Divine Sun blood seed crystal. It seems that as long as Divine Sun energy is released here, it will be absorbed by the Divine Sun blood seed crystal. Just as Qin Yun is hesitating, the Cosmos God race people under the Divine Sun blood seed crystal suddenly lied down on the ground. Thousands of Cosmos God race people lying down on the ground suddenly twitched. Their eyes turned white, and at the same time, they let out a hair-raising scream from their mouth. Soon after, many blue light fog ferociously poured into their mouth. At this moment, their body twitched even more intensely. The scariest thing is that some Cosmos God race people can't bear it, and their body directly exploded. The soul of the Divine Sun descendants is entering their body. Old Brother Taisher said in astonishment, "They are fusing." Chapter 3360. Qin Yun can see with his naked eyes that a large amount of blue mist is pouring into the mouth of every Cosmos God race member. This blue mist is not the soul of one God-Son descendant, but many. In other words, many God-Son descendant souls have entered the body of Cosmos God race member. The soul of God-Son descendant should have other changes after absorbing the energy of God-Son blood seed crystal. Then, after fusing with the body of Cosmos God race member, their strength will definitely become very strong. Old Brother Taisher said, "The group of Cosmos God race members below the God-Son blood seed crystal seem to be in great pain. Their bodies are trembling violently." Qin Yun could sense that the cultivation of this group of Cosmos God race members is peak divine space realm. If they break through again, they will surpass the divine space realm. Of course, they're not as strong as Qin Yun. They're not even comparable to Barbarian Emperor. But they are numerous, and Qin Yun does not know how strong they are. We can't let them succeed. Otherwise, our plan will be terminated before it even starts. Qin Yun must stop them. It should be the Cosmos Lost Spirit who made them do this. Only a Cosmos Lost Spirit can think of such a strange method. Old Brother Taisher said, "Qin Yun, you are now being sealed by a large number of God-Son descendants. You must quickly escape." The Divine Son descendant could only seal Qin Yun. He could not injure Qin Yun, let alone kill him. Because of this contact with Qin Yun, the God-Son descendants know that Qin Yun's body is very strong, causing their souls to be unable to penetrate Qin Yun's body. Actually, there is no need to release Malheur. Her strongest point is her mental power. She can release her mental power inside the 9-Sun divine soul. Old Brother Taisher said, "Let her try." All right. Qin Yun immediately contacted Malheur and told her about his situation. Knowing that Qin Yun is in danger, Ling Yun'er, Zi Qingcheng, and Shui Tianzi are very anxious and want to go out and help Qin Yun. Malheur is also very worried and said that she wants to go out directly. "Malheur, you try first. Release your strongest mental power. I will see if there is any movement outside." Qin Yun said, "If Malheur's mental power has no effect on the God-Son descendants, then it is useless for her to come out." Because Maruru wanted to save Qin Yun, she was very serious now. She stood still, closed her eyes, and released her mental power. Malheur's body was overflowing with white light, and more white light soon gathered into a huge cyclone in the sky, as if a hurricane was about to erupt and sweep the world. Qin Yun was stunned. Malheur's mental power was so strong. During this period of time, Maruru had been cultivating mainly by eating the divine universe golden stones and then absorbing the power of the myriad realms divine Sunday. The fact that she could improve so quickly really exceeded Qin Yun's expectations. Qin Yun immediately controlled the mental power and released it from the 9-Sun divine soul. His wrist trembled, and then the spiritual force entered his powerful body. Wave after wave of ferocious mental power rushed into Qin Yun's body through the 9-Sun divine spirit. Under Qin Yun's control, it continuously exploded out. Qin Yun's use of power was very brilliant. Especially through stacking the impact, he made the mental power collide with each other, producing an even more explosive power. His body is very strong, so he is not afraid of the violent fluctuations of power. What shocked him the most is that the mental power released by Malheur is actually so strong. It is completely comparable to his lawless power. Mental power is a very special kind of power. It is not like the divine universe power that can directly reflect power. But Malheur's mental power is not only strong, it is also extremely special. After Qin Yun absorbed Malheur's mental power, he continuously released it through his body. The power that was imprisoning him disappeared very quickly. It's effective. Qin Yun is pleasantly surprised. Then he rushed towards the divine sun blood seed, crystal, floating in the air. Just as he was about to go over, he suddenly collided with something, and was even sent flying by a strong force. Boom, boom, boom. Soon after, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled all around. It's the Divine Sun descendants who are stopping you. There are a lot of souls here. You can't see them. Old Brother Taishur said. Quickly use Malur's mental power to open a path. Qin Yun mobilized Malur's mental power and continuously released it from his body, causing those Divine Sun descendants who can't see him to retreat. Even so, it is still very difficult for him to fly forward. The resistance is too strong. This means that not only are there a lot of Divine Sun descendants, their souls are also very strong. Why are there so many Divine Sun descendants here, and their souls are so strange that they can't be sensed? When those guys below finish fusing, we won't have a chance. Old Brother Taishur said, with your strength, you won't be able to fight against thousands of monsters that surpass the divine universe realm. Qin Yun is very clear about this, so he must stop the fusion. Even if he can't stop it, he must take away the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal so that they don't continue to produce these monsters. There are hundreds and thousands of these monsters. They are all very terrifying. They have completely broken the balance of divine desolate. Damn it, even the memories of those heavenly sons of lost spirit don't have detailed information about this place. It seems like the heavenly sons of lost spirit also don't know, and they came here to take away the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal. Qin Yun flew in the air with great difficulty. It seems like this matter has gone out of control. Maybe even the universe lost spirit didn't expect this kind of result. That's why he wants to take back the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal. Old Brother Taishur said. In other words, a group of these guys were born before. Moreover, they avoided the surveillance of the universe lost spirit and hid inside the nether sun at the center of the 9 sun holy lands. Now, they're secretly creating another batch. When the time comes, maybe even the universe lost spirit won't be able to control them. Qin Yun felt fear just thinking about it. Finally, he is about to approach the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal. However, at this time, the inside of the crystal suddenly trembled, as if it is about to collapse. Not good. Those Divine Sun descendants want to destroy this place. They don't want you to obtain the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal. Old Brother Taishur said anxiously, quickly, Milu, can you release your strongest mental power in one breath? Qin Yun hastily asked. I can, I will do my best. Milu's face is filled with solemnity. She lightly shouted. Her eyes suddenly turned red. Her hair also turned red. When Qin Yun first met Milu, she had to wait a few times to enter this red-haired, red-eyed state. But now, she can enter this state any time. Red-haired Milu, this is her strongest form. Now, the mental power she released is also red. Qin Yun immediately absorbed a vast amount of mental power. After this power entered his body, it actually caused his entire body to feel intense pain, as if his flesh and bones are about to melt. This is a corrosive mental power. It is too terrifying. Although it is extremely painful, it made the souls of the Divine Sun descendants around Qin Yun retreat. He finally successfully touched the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal. The crystal suddenly turned blood red. Chapter 33:61. After the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal shone with a red light, the interior of the space suddenly turned blood red, and there were countless balls of blood floating in the air. The blood blobs were unable to approach Qin Yun and the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal. They were blocked by a power. Qin Yun's body is still releasing Malur's mental power. The red light released by the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal can also block those blood balls outside. Qin Yun immediately understood that these blood blobs were the souls of the divine Sun descendants. Under the illumination of the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal, they finally appeared and could be seen with the naked eye. There were actually so many of them. They were densely packed all around, squeezing together as if they were surrounded by red water. Because it was blocked, Qin Yun was unable to see the situation of the group of people below. but he could still sense that the cosmos gods were absorbing the energy from the god Sun Bloodseed Crystal. Quick, collect the divine Sun Bloodseed Crystal, old brother Taisher urged. When Qin Yun touched the divine Sun Bloodseed Crystal, he wanted to take it away, but he did not succeed. He was unable to teleport to the 9 Yang Divine Soul. He did not know what was going on. This thing is very special. It's resisting me, so I can't transfer it to the 9 Yang Divine Spirit. Qin Yun told Taisher about the problem he was facing. Let me think. This thing shouldn't be an ordinary crystal. Old brother Taisher thought for a moment, then said, take out the soul creation heavenly cauldron and store the crystal inside. Will this work? With doubts, Qin Yun immediately took out the soul creation heavenly cauldron. He took out the soul-creating heaven cauldron and tried, but he still couldn't store the divine Sun Bloodseed Crystal. How much soul loss do you have? Old brother Taisher asked. There's only one bottle left. Qin Yun said, but I can make it rather quickly. He had already passed on the method to create the soul loss due to Zi, Qinsheng, and Shui Tianzi. They could create it in the 9 Yang Divine Spirit. Use up that small bottle and use it on the divine Sun Bloodseed Crystal. Old brother Taisher said, I suspect that the divine Sun Bloodseed Crystal is formed from soul. Soul? Qin Yun was somewhat alarmed. Yes, but consciousness is very weak. Perhaps his consciousness was still in its infancy. If the god Sun Bloodseed Crystal's consciousness is affected and becomes evil, then it will be dangerous. Old brother Taisher said, it should be affected by now. We have to erase its consciousness as soon as possible. Qin Yun quickly took out a bottle of soul loss dew and threw it at the divine Sun Bloodseed Crystal. After the soul lost dew splashed on the god Sun Bloodseed Crystal, the red light gradually faded, and it turned back to its original blue color. At this time, Qin Yun can no longer see the divine sun descended souls around him. However, the space is still violently trembling, as if it will explode very soon. Looking down, he saw the bodies of those cosmos gods frozen by blue ice crystals. Looking down from the sky, there were many blue ice crystal bodies below. Not good, those guys succeeded, old brother Taisher said solemnly. At this moment, Qin Yun successfully stored the divine Sun Bloodseed Crystal into the soul creation heavenly cauldron and placed it into the 9 Sun Divine Spirit. After the god Sun Bloodseed Crystal was taken away, Qin Yun took out Barbarian Emperor's blade. He planned to rush down and kill those cosmos gods who were currently transforming. However, after those invisible divine sun descendant souls saw that the divine Sun Bloodseed Crystal was taken away, they became extremely berserk and released a very powerful energy. Boom! At the same time, Qin Yun can feel the berserk energy coming from all directions. The inner core of this small divine sun is about to collapse and explode. Those guys shouldn't be able to survive, right? Qin Yun released lawless power to protect himself and then broke through the berserk energy explosion. The explosion below is very intense. Even if Qin Yun has a very powerful fleshly body, he will still suffer serious injuries when facing the nuclear explosion of an extremely high-quality small divine Sunday. Therefore, he can only retreat immediately. After coming to the ground, the Emperor's city has already turned into ruins. After all, there is a nuclear explosion of a small divine sun below. Even if the ground of God's desolate has become very firm, it is still torn apart. Malheur is already resting. However, there is still a lot of mental power she released floating above the 9 Sun Divine Spirit Purple Sun Pearl. This mental power is so powerful that it causes Qin Yun to feel fear. Just now, when he channeled this mental power into his body, it almost caused his body to melt. Fortunately, Malheur did her best to control her mental power and not harm Qin Yun. Otherwise, Qin Yun would have been seriously injured. When Qin Yun first met Malheur, he asked her to help him search for Divine Space Golden Stone Mine. At that time, she will transform into red-haired Malheur and go deep underground. She will release mental power wind to sweep the depths of the earth. What is even more terrifying is that after she sweeps through the earth, she can use spatial power to take it away. Qin Yin now finally understands why her mental power is so powerful and can cover such a large area deep underground. Qin Yun's mental power can also drill into the ground, but the area it covers is very small. If Malheur released her mental power, covering a super treasure land is not a problem at all. It can even cover an even larger area. Yuanmei. Qin Yun took out the magic mirror and contacted Xiao Yuanmei. How is your progress? We started digging divine space golden stone. We have already found a place with a lot of divine space golden stone. Xiao Yuanmei said. Xiao Ma and Xiao Kuan-peng are very good at acting. They're drilling around underground like loaches and swallowing the divine space golden stone mine. Their main goal this time is to dig out a large amount of divine space golden stone. The main force of Huoling Empire has already been defeated. Heavenly Emperor Huoling has been killed by Qin Yun. Almost all the peak experts have been killed. Under Xiao Yuanmei's command, the Empire's army has been pushed back and scattered. Now, the only thing that can threaten them is the bald army of Heavenly Law Altar, and the barbarian army that is rushing over. Dark Shadow Pavilion and Heaven Mystery Sect have already sent news that 3 barbarian army are rushing over from 3 different directions. There are more than 30 million of them. Law Enforcement Realm King also sent news that several 100,000 cosmos gods are currently gathering at the center of Nine Sun Holy Ground. Qin Yun immediately let Malheur come out and cooperate with him to lock down the majority of divine space golden stone. Then he let Xiao Yuanmei and the others come out from underground and floated in the sky. Yuanmei, 30 million barbarian army, and several 100,000 cosmos gods. Who knows how strong they are? We can't face them head-on. We have to quickly settle the matter here, and then move on to the next destination. Qin Yun said, even though he has obtained the mysterious divine sun blood seed crystal, divine space golden stone is still very important. Brother, did you meet anything down there? Xiao Yuanmei asked. Her intuition is very sharp. She can feel that Qin Yun has become more cautious, as if he is worried about something. Even though that place exploded, Qin Yun is not sure whether those several thousand monsters were truly exterminated or not. If those monsters can survive, then he will have to adjust his plan. Chapter 3362. Very soon, Xiao Yuanmei and the others came out from underground and floated in the sky. According to them, there's still a large amount of divine universe golden stones below. It will take at least a few days to excavate most of them. Qin Yun could not wait that long. There was no need to talk about a few days. At the earliest, the various armies of the newborns would arrive in 2 days. As for those monsters, even Qin Yun did not dare to go over to confirm if they were still there. He was afraid that those monsters would surround and attack him. Qin Yun is now very sure that the Divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal and the Divine Sun Blood Seed are not the same thing. It sounds like they are related, but they are 2 completely different things. Yuner, get ready. Qin Yun asked Ling Yun, to cooperate with him. He wants to cooperate with Ling Yun, and the Great Nether Sun inside the Nether Sun Pearl to release supergravity and bring out the Divine Universe Golden Stones. It wasn't too difficult for the Divine Universe Metallic Stone to come out from the depths. Previously, there was a very violent explosion in the center, and the entire Huoling Imperial City's ground was loosened. If there had not been such an explosion, it would have been very difficult. Qin Yun used Malheur's mental power to lock onto the area with the densest concentration of Divine Universe Golden Stones. Then, he released a supergravity force into the depths of the earth. After Qin Yun's mental power locked onto the Divine Universe Golden Rocks in that area, supergravity concentrated on those Divine Universe Golden Rocks. With his control, those Divine Universe metals were all lifted up and floated upwards, drilling out from the depths of the earth. There are many Divine Universe Goldstones in this large region. After floating in the air, Qin Yun used the 9 Yang Divine Soul to collect them. Because the area was too big, he also let the Divine Mountain collect it. Strange Cat King and Wildfire could also collect them for their own use. Although the 9 Yang Kuan Peng was collecting them, The ones that he and Imperial Yao Yao had no use for would eventually be given to Qin Yin. A large number of Divine Universe metal stones emitted a brilliant golden light as they floated into the air. This scene left the people fleeing the Emperor's city dumbfounded. Of course, they knew that someone was fighting over this imperial city. It was just that they didn't know where these people came from to be so powerful. Some people guessed that it was Qin Yin, but they were unsure. Above the heavenly Tao altar, there were also a large number of Divine Universe golden stones floating in the air. Many bald experts looked at those Divine Universe golden stones with greed in their eyes, but they didn't go to collect them. Qin Yin did not count how many Divine Universe gold stones there were. In any case, he decided to collect them first. Moreover, this was only a part of the treasure land under Hualing Imperial City. After taking away these, there were still a few areas where the Divine Universe Golden Stone Mine was concentrated. Less than an hour later, Qin Yin finally finished collecting all the Divine Universe Gold Stones. Then, he continued, "There's more?" Gu Shou, Xiao Yueme, and the others are very startled. They thought that the majority of this super treasure land was floating in the air. Seeing a large number of Divine Universe Gold Stones appear, everyone hurried to collect them. Everyone knew that if not for Qin Yin, it would not have been easy to collect the Divine Universe Gold Stones. The ground of this treasure land was very sturdy, and even a peak Divine Space Realm expert would find it very difficult to mine from below. The previous explosion had caused the ground to loosen up a lot, which was why everyone could easily dig underneath. Even so, it still took a long time to dig. The moment Qin Yin came up, he immediately used this move. Everyone couldn't help but sigh. A godly king was indeed a godly king. Inside the heavenly law altar, Tiandozi looked at the floating Divine Universe golden stones and sighed. Grandpa Qin is indeed Grandpa Qin, always so powerful. Father Heavenly Tao, do you think Grandpa Qin got the Divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal? Will he give it to you? He should have it, but he won't give it to me. A young and handsome white-clothed youth said, his face filled with worry as he looked at Qin Yin, who was floating in the sky. This young and handsome bald youth is the reborn Heavenly Law Spirit. Heavenly Law Spirit was almost exterminated. Then he was reborn in Ancient Desolate. How did he come to Divine Desolate? This caused Qin Yin to be very curious. Then you won't snatch it, right? Tiandozi laughed loudly and said, Father Heavenly Tao, if you really want to snatch it, can you snatch it? Heavenly Law Spirit's gloomy face suddenly showed a faint smile. Of course I can snatch it, but I will definitely be annoyed to death by Qin Yin in the future, so I can't snatch it. Then, Divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal is very important to you, Tiandozi said with worried expression. It's fine, I don't need it. I just need to gather a bit of energy from it. After Qin Yin is done with his business, I will go find him and have a chat. I will make an exchange with him. Heavenly Law Spirit said. This guy Master Qin doesn't seem to lack anything. What are you going to use to exchange with him? Tiandozi asked. He doesn't know what use the Divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal has, but I do. Just based on this, he will definitely be willing to exchange with me. I will tell him how to properly use the Divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal. Heavenly Law Spirit laughed and said, Tiandozi, you seem to be very afraid of him. Tiandozi laughed loudly and said, I'm not afraid. It's just that I owe him a favor, so I respect him very much. Half a day passed. Qin Yin finally cleaned up the super treasure land of Hualing Emperor City. He didn't count how many he fished out. He estimated that there were at least 100 trillion Divine Universe golden stones. Next, he will head to the next city of Hualing Empire. Hualing Empire has many big cities and all kinds of large and medium-sized treasure lands. Now that Heavenly Emperor Hualing has been killed and the Empire's army has been routed, the other big cities can't stop Qin Yin and company. Just as Heavenly Law Spirit wanted to go find Qin Yin and company to talk, a ball of light releasing blue-colored light fell from the sky. This is the small Heavenly Universe Divine Sun, which is also the Imperial Heaven Pawn Shop. The Imperial Heaven Pawn Shop used to be the Heavenly Law Pawn Shop, So, the heavenly law spirit is very familiar with this pawn shop. Of course, the Imperial Heaven pawn shop has been improved a lot, especially by the alien space race. It has an even stronger spatial technique. After the Imperial Heaven pawn shop appeared, blue light shone and covered Qin Yun and company. Then, they were teleported inside the pawn shop. In the blink of an eye, the Divine Inscription Mountain and many armies were teleported away. Soon after, the space around the Imperial Heaven pawn shop fluctuated, and it quickly teleported to the next city. Let's go. We will immediately follow. Heavenly law, spirit urged. This Qin Yun, he actually made my heavenly law pawn shop so powerful. He has some skills. Father, heavenly Dao, do you want to take back that pawn shop? Tian Daozi's eyes lit up as he said with a smile. Take back. Aren't you afraid of angering him? When the time comes, he will even snatch away this heavenly law altar. Heavenly law spirit shook his head and laughed. This Qin Yun, you just saw how he snatched things. Tian Daozi no longer spoke. He is truly afraid. He always hid from Qin Yun before, because he was afraid that Qin Yun would set his sights on this broken altar. He once suspected that Pippi Pig and Shimin Zhuang were planted by Qin Yun here, so that these two would torture him to death and then inherit his heavenly law altar. Mobile users, please visit Chapter 3363. The heavenly Tao altar can become small and can even fly. When it was needed, it would become very large and rampage across the ground. Tian Daozi thinks that this is very domineering and can scare people. Tian Daozi controlled the heavenly Tao altar to become small and flew in the sky, but lost its target. Dad, I don't know where they are. Tian Daozi said with some embarrassment. You have great magical abilities. You should know where they went, right? The heavenly Tao law spirit built the Imperial Heaven pawn shop. Although it belongs to Qin Yun now, Tian Daozi believes that Qin Yun should know where it went. The heavenly Tao law spirit closed his eyes to sense. After a while, he shook his head and said, The pawn shop has been completely remodeled. I can't sense it now. All right, I will contact my two disciples and see if they can provide any clues. Tian Daozi took out the devil mirror and contacted Shimin Zhuang. Before, Shimin Zhuang would send selfies to him from time to time. Moreover, he also said that he is very handsome every day. You have disciples? Heavenly Tao Law Spirit is somewhat surprised. He said with smile, Why don't you bring them to see me? At this, Tian Daozi naturally doesn't want to. Although Shimin Zhuang and Pippi Pig are his disciples, they are very strange. Especially Pippi Pig, this farting pig. Who knew if its fart was even more powerful now? Wait for a chance. They are Master Qin's friends. They are now following Qin Yun. Tian Daozi used the devil mirror to frantically call Shimin Zhuang. The heavenly Tao Law Spirit patiently waited. Tian Daozi did not get a reply. He anxiously cursed Shimin Zhuang in his heart. At this time, Qin Yun's voice came through the devil mirror. Tian Daozi, let me talk to your father. Qin Yun has already arrived at another Hualing Empire's Emperor City. Tian Daozi immediately handed over the devil mirror to the heavenly Tao Law Spirit. Little friend Qin Yun, I trust you have been well since we last met. The heavenly Tao Law Spirit can see Qin Yun through the devil mirror. Qin Yun can also see the flashy, handsome, bald head of the heavenly Law Fa Spirit. He secretly despised him and then said, Don't be like this. I'm not familiar with you. You make it seem like we have a very good relationship. How should he put it? Qin Yun is somewhat displeased with the heavenly Tao Law Spirit. Firstly, he was once arranged by the heavenly Tao Law Spirit to go through the 9 lifetimes that caused him great pain. Secondly, the behavior of the bald experts under the heavenly Tao Law Spirit made him very uncomfortable. The natural law Fa Spirit only smiled and said, I want to talk to you about the divine sun blood seed crystal. When would it be convenient? Not yet, Qin Yun said, but I promise to talk to you. By the way, what's your current strength? It has already surpassed the divine space realm. Of course, it is not the transcending divine space realm of the past, but a new realm. We call it the space transformation realm. Heaven's lost spirit said. This realm was created by the universe's lost spirit. To make a long story short, there is a group of monsters under Hualing Emperor City. They are formed by the souls of a large number of Divine Sun descendants entering the bodies of the cosmos god race, and then absorbing the energy of the Divine Sun blood seed crystal. When I left, the small Divine Sun under the Emperor's City exploded. At that time, I could not confirm whether the monsters were still alive or not. Qin Yun hurriedly told this matter to the Heavenly Law Fa Spirit. The Heavenly Law Fa Spirit's expression, which was relatively gentle just now, suddenly became serious. According to the information I have, various armies are currently rushing towards Hualing Emperor City. I originally came for me, but now it seems that it is extremely likely that they are going for the thousands of monsters whose life and death are unknown. Qin Yun did not wait for the Heavenly Law Fa Spirit to speak and immediately continued. The headquarters of the Cosmos God race in the center of the Holy Land has also sent some strange fellows over. You want me to confirm those monsters? The Heavenly Law Fa Spirit asked. Yes. After you finish this matter, I will talk to you about the Divine Sun blood seed crystal. Qin Yun said. Even if there is no such condition, I will still confirm it. The reason why I appear in the God Desolate is because of this matter. After I confirm it, we will contact again. The Heavenly Law Fa Spirit said. Ask Tian Dao Zi to give you a magic mirror. We will contact again. After Qin Yun finished speaking, he ended the call. Tian Dao Zi immediately took out a magic mirror and gave it to the Heavenly Law Fa Spirit. Then, he activated it and added Shimanda Zhuang to Qin Yun. After adding Shimanda Zhuang, the Heavenly Law Fa Spirit's magic mirror immediately received pictures of this self-proclaimed number one handsome person in God Desolate, as well as all kinds of expressions. Tian Dao Zi wished he could slap this fool disciple to death through the magic mirror. Dad, this Grandpa Qin is really something. He actually gave such a dangerous task to you. No matter what, you are still the former Heavenly Law. It is true that Grandpa Qin is the God King of God Desolate, but I feel that your position is higher than him. Tian Dao Zi wanted to run because he sensed danger. The Heavenly Law Fa Spirit was a powerful magic spirit, yet Qin Yun treated him as a tool. Tian Dao Zi felt very dissatisfied in his heart. Tian Dao Zi, the matter regarding those monsters has nothing to do with Qin Yun. The Heavenly Law Fa Spirit did not care. He only laughed and said, You wait here, I will go and take a look. Tian Dao Zi took out the magic mirror and paid attention to the news on the platform. Unexpectedly, everything is calm. Such a big matter happened in Hualing Imperial City, but it did not spread very fast. Clearly, someone is controlling it. If he wants to know the situation on Qin Yun's side, he can only go through Shimanda Zhuang and Pippi Pig. However, these two are tight-lipped and do not want to divulge anything. Qin Yun's side has already arrived above a large city. This large city has no Heavenly Law Spirit Son of Heaven and no experts guarding it. Although the barrier is powerful, it was quickly breached. This time, Qin Yun and the others were able to attack very quickly. The Imperial Heaven Pawn Shop directly smashed down and the barrier shook until it loosened. Then, Qin Yun used heavenly rune characters and quickly broke the barrier. After entering the city, they quickly went deep underground and attacked frantically, shaking the ground until it loosened. Then, Qin Yun asked Malheur to help and combined with the supergravity to make the divine universe Golden Stone float. The people in the city did not resist at all. They all fled out of the city. The remaining city guard were not enough to resist Qin Yun and the others. They were directly defeated in fear. On the Heavenly Law Fa Spirit side, he approached the center of Hualing Imperial City and took out a circular detector. Just as he took it out, the disc lit up densely packed light spots. They still succeeded. There are only 3,000 in total. Fortunately, there should have been at least 6,000. With Qin Yun's actions, they lost nearly half. They will definitely hate Qin Yun to death. The heavenly law, Fa spirit, looked at the light spots on the disk with mixed feelings. Then, he took out the magic mirror and contacted Qinyan. He did not get a timely reply from Qinyan, so he left a message. There were originally 6,000 monsters. Now there are still 3,000 left. Once the monsters are formed, it is difficult to kill them. I'm unable to kill so many monsters by myself. Chapter 33:64. After investigating the situation here, the natural law spirit immediately flew away from the ruins of Hualing Imperial City, but did not go too far. He was waiting for Qinyan's reply. At the same time, he was waiting for the reinforcements from the new pioneers' camp to arrive. After Tian Dao Zi's heavenly altar shrunk, it flew far away and hid itself. This was what the heavenly law spirit told him to do. Tian Dao Zi was the best at hiding, so he hid very well. In addition, he was far away from the ruins of Hualing Imperial City, so he gradually felt more at ease. Dad, why are you still there? Tian Dao Zi used the magic mirror to contact the heavenly law spirit. I need to keep an eye on the situation here, heavenly law spirit said. This matter is very important. The reason why I appeared in God Desolate is mainly to gather information about those things. Tian Dao Zi only knew that the cosmos god race and the descendant of the god sun had joined hands and used the mysterious god sun bloodseed crystal to fuse together a very powerful item. As for the specifics, he did not know. The heavenly law spirit did not tell him much. After about 2 hours, Qinyan finally had the time to take out the magic mirror and converse with the heavenly Dao Dharma spirit. 3,000 are still alive. Qinyan felt something was amiss. Those monsters were very strong. He thought that most of them would be dead, at most a few hundred. He didn't expect so many of them to survive. After absorbing the divine sun bloodseed crystal's energy, they already have a stronger life force. The others died mainly because of your interference, resulting in insufficient energy absorption. Therefore, their vitality did not reach the expected level, and they died in that explosion. The heavenly law, Fa spirit said, "All right, in that place, there are a large number of souls of the descendants of the divine sun. After the explosion, those guys shouldn't die, right?" Qinyan suddenly became worried again. Where did the large number of divine sun descendants go in the end? Those divine sun descendants are very special. It is very difficult to sense them. Qinyan also absorbed red-haired Malur's mental power to open his heavenly eye. Only then could he see the souls of those divine sun descendants. You don't have to worry about that. The souls of the divine sun descendants who absorb the divine sun bloodseed crystal will indeed transform, but there are too few of them. There's nothing to be afraid of. The natural law, Fa spirit said, as long as they don't have bodies, there's nothing to be afraid of. You call that too few? Qinyan remembered that in the space within the little divine sun's core, there were countless souls of divine sun descendants. Just thinking about it made him feel terrified. Compared to the interior of the ancestral god sun, the soul of the divine sun's descendant is nothing. The heavenly Dao law spirit asked, "Qinyan, when will you be done?" "It might take a few days." Qinyan smiled awkwardly and said, "I need a large number of divine universe goldstones. Besides, there's so many treasure lands in the Nine Suns sacred ground. I can't let them all be occupied by the new pioneers." That's true. The divine universe metallic stone is very useful, and the entire Hualing Empire has occupied a lot of it. Every year, they would pay a huge tribute to the barbarian race and the cosmos god race. The natural law, Fa spirit said, "Continue with your work. I will pay attention to the situation here." "Oh, right. If those fellows come looking for you, don't fight them head on. Just retreat immediately." Were those monsters? Qinyan could already tell that the heavenly Dao Dharma spirit knew these monsters very well. How should I put this? You should know the descendants of the sun god very well, right? These guys are the complete descendants of the divine sun god. The heavenly Dao Law Fa spirit said, The body of a universe lost spirit combined with the divine sun blood seed crystal can allow them to evolve perfectly. The souls of the descendants of the divine sun are very powerful and difficult to kill. Especially now that they have become much stronger, it is even more difficult to kill them. Their souls are almost immortal and indestructible. They have one biggest weakness, that is, their powerful bodies can't leave the divine sun. The reason why the descendants of the divine sun were created is mainly to exterminate all kinds of divine sun. Let the divine sun self-destruct and return its energy to the universe. In order to prevent the descendants of the divine sun from causing too much harm to the universe, when they were created, they left behind this weakness, making them unable to leave the divine sun with their powerful bodies. Even the universe lost spirit is unable to control the formation of these guys. Currently, their total number might be close to 10,000. The heavenly Tao, Law, Fa spirit said again. 10,000? Qin Yun is very shocked. Are they all formed under the Hualing Imperial City? No. As far as I know, there are only 3 divine sun blood seed crystals. You took one of them. It was originally the universe lost spirits. Another one is in the hands of the 9 Yang lost spirit, and the whereabouts of the last one is unknown. It might be in the great nether sun in the middle of the sacred land. However, if it is used frequently, the divine sun blood seed crystal will go dormant and will only wake up after tens of thousands of years. Furthermore, it needs to be replenished with a large amount of special energy during this period. The heavenly Tao, Law, Fa spirit said. Qin Yun never expected that the hidden danger of the descendants of the divine sun would erupt so quickly. Previously, he thought that the descendants of the divine sun could only stay within the divine sun and would not be able to cause any harm to it in a short period of time. It would take at least tens of thousands of years for the descendants of the divine sun to destroy the huge divine sun, sometimes even hundreds of millions of years. If there's any new situation, remember to contact me immediately. Qin Yun said, I'm going to continue plundering the divine universe metal stones. Remember to search thoroughly. The divine universe metal stones can replenish the divine sun blood seed crystal. Don't leave too much for them. The heavenly Tao, Law, Fa spirit warned. Qin Yun waited for everyone to rest and then immediately attacked the next city. In the sky above the ruined Hualing Imperial City, waves of fiendish aura suddenly appeared from all directions. Very quickly, a large number of murderous warriors flew over from all directions. There were barbarian warriors and also a large number of warriors from the new human camp. There were tens of millions of them. The heavenly Tao, Law, Fa spirits searched for the perfect descendants of the divine sun in the crowd and quickly saw hundreds of them. It was these hundreds of descendants of the divine sun that landed on the ground and dug out the 3,000 cocoon monsters. They really came for these things. The heavenly Tao, Law, Fa spirit thought in his heart. Could it be that the barbarian race is also led by the descendants of the divine sun? That's impossible. The barbarian emperor is very loyal to the universe lost spirit. Seeing the barbarian army quietly floating in the air and a few barbarian kings walking very close to the descendants of the divine sun, the barbarian emperor is not here. These barbarian kings have rebelled. The heavenly Tao, Law, Fa spirit was somewhat surprised, but after thinking about it carefully, with the strength of the descendants of the divine sun, they could indeed rope in these barbarian kings. When the heavenly Tao, Law, Fa spirit was secretly observing from afar, he suddenly sensed something and his expression suddenly changed. When he wanted to dodge, his head was pierced through by a long sword from the back of his head. The long sword shook and the head of the heavenly Tao, Law, Fa spirit directly exploded. The strange thing is that the headless heavenly Tao, Law, Fa spirit's body can still use spatial teleportation at an extremely fast speed. At the same time, the expert holding the long sword chased after him and slashed at him. He can also use spatial teleportation to chase after him, but he didn't hit the heavenly Tao, Law, Fa spirit. The bald head of the heavenly Tao, Law, Fa spirit quickly grew back. While escaping, the heavenly Tao Law Fa spirit split his mind to use the magic mirror to contact Qingyun. Qingyun, I need your help. We can join hands to capture a perfect descendant of the divine sun. This is a very good opportunity. The heavenly Tao Law Fa spirit transmitted to Qingyun. Qingyun is currently attacking a large city of the Ling Empire and has already entered the final stage. After receiving the message from the heavenly Tao Law Fa spirit, he hesitated whether or not to go over. Chapter 3365. Of course, Qingyun wants to catch a divine sun, descendant to take a look. If this kind of monster is alone, it is relatively easy to catch. If it is a group, it will be very difficult to catch. However, Qingyun is somewhat unable to let go. His plan is to take all the divine universe golden stones in the other big cities of Ling Empire in the shortest time possible. Especially in this kind of situation, he must be fast or else others will beat him to it. Now that the divine sun descendants and the cosmos god race have joined forces, they're gradually breaking away from the control of the cosmos law spirit and becoming especially powerful. They also need a large amount of resources, so they will definitely make a move against the new human camp. Qingyun hesitated again and again, then contacted Xiao Yuanmei and asked Lingyun to come out and help. Lingyun can also use supergravity, but her area is not as big as Qingyun's. Yuanmei, I need to leave for a while. I should be able to come back soon. There is no problem leaving this place to you, right? Qingyun also believes in Xiao Yuanmei's ability. Of course there is no problem. Brother, because you are here, I cannot display my true power. Xiao Yuanmei said with smile, Brother, don't worry and go do other things. Qingyun let the ancient beast follow Xiao Yuanmei and others, and also let Milu come out. Zi Qingxing and Shui Tianzi also follow Milu. This will make Milu feel a lot more at ease. After all, this is the first time Milu has left Qingyun in many days. She feels somewhat uneasy in her heart. Milu only needs to cooperate with Xiao Yuanmei and Lingyun inside the Divine Inscription Mountain. The Divine Inscription Mountain is very safe. Its defense is extremely strong, and there are also ancient beasts overseeing it. Qingyun felt a lot more at ease. Heavenly Law Spirit, I will go help you immediately. But I have a condition. Promise me first. Qingyun contacted the Heavenly Law Spirit with a magic mirror. What condition? The Heavenly Law Spirit knew it would be like this. I will help you capture a divine sun descendant. You also have to help me mine. Qingyun said, I see that you have many strong, bald experts under you. They all seem to be very energetic. It is a pity if they don't go mining. The Heavenly Law Spirit cursed a few times in his heart, but he can only agree. This is a very good opportunity. If he misses this time, he doesn't know when he will be able to capture this kind of divine sun descendant. All right, I promise you. The Heavenly Tao Law Spirit agreed to Qingyun's conditions. In his opinion, helping Qingyun go to those large cities to plunder divine universe goldstones was a very easy matter. Qingyun took out the heavenly leaping shuttle. After determining the direction, he immediately used a spatial shuttle to rush over. Can't you beat that guy? Qingyun asked. Of course I can beat him, but with my strength, I can't stop him. As you know, the souls of the descendants of the Divine Sun are very strong, especially now that their bodies have also undergone a transformation, which makes them even stronger. If they want to escape, I can't stop them at all. The Heavenly Law Fa Spirit said. The fact that he was able to deal with the descendant of the Divine Sun while contacting Qingyun at the same time meant that he was at ease. It was just that he wasn't completely confident in capturing the descendant. The Heavenly Law Fa Spirit was very far away from the center of Ling Emperor City, but he was still targeted by a descendant of the Divine Sun. This descendant of the Divine Sun was definitely not an ordinary one and should be a spy. Therefore, the Heavenly Law Fa Spirit did not have absolute confidence in taking down this descendant of the Divine Sun. He was afraid that after he displayed his powerful strength, the other party would quickly escape. Right now, the heavenly law FA spirit was suppressing his own strength, making the other party feel that he was very weak. He pretended to be having a hard time, resisting, and slowly distanced himself from the center of Hua Ling Emperor City, not letting the group of descendants of the Divine Sun discover him. Qin Yun could use the magic mirror in the hands of the heavenly law FA spirit to determine his location and then chase after him. Their speed is the fastest. I didn't pay attention for a moment, and they ran so far away. After Qin Yun's heavenly leaping shuttle stopped, he did not find the heavenly law FA spirit. However, he could sense the remnant weak aura outside. That aura was not the heavenly law FA spirits, but the descendant of the Divine Sun. During this process, the heavenly law FA spirit did not leak any aura. It could be seen that his control over his power was extremely brilliant. Qin Yun chased after him a few times and finally saw the heavenly law FA spirit. His speed was just enough for the descendant of the Divine Sun to catch up and gradually lure him away. If this descendant of the Divine Sun is a spy, he would definitely be able to tell that the heavenly law FA spirit is deliberately luring him away. However, he still did not ask for help. Could it be that he is too conceited? Qin Yun was observing. Then he took out the magic mirror and contacted the heavenly law FA spirit. I'm already here. There's only one opponent. He should know your intentions. Be careful. He knows my origin. The reason why he didn't contact the other descendants of the Divine Sun is because he wants to swallow me for himself. In their eyes, I am a great tonic. The heavenly law FA spirit urged Qin Yun. Hurry up and make your move. How should I cooperate with you? Qin Yun asked. Use your strongest power to attack him. I will prevent him from escaping. I have a unique technique to capture him. I just need some time to prepare. The heavenly law FA spirit warned. You must be careful. That guy is at the space transformation realm. His strength has surpassed the peak of the divine space realm. All right. Qin Yun left the heaven-leaping shuttle and took out the barbarian emperor's saber. Using his fastest speed, he condensed all the power in his body and charged towards the descendant of the Divine Sun. Then in an instant, he hacked down several hundred saber strikes. The power of Qin Yun's several hundred saber strikes covered a large area. Furthermore, it was accompanied by gravitational force, causing the descendant of the Divine Sun to be unable to quickly move and dodge. The descendant of the Divine Sun knew that he couldn't dodge, so he used his fastest speed to release all the power in his body and condensed a shield around his body. Several saber strikes landed on the shield, causing loud explosions that shook the heaven and earth. Waves of energy surged up and down, accompanied by thunder and lightning roaring in all directions. The scene was extremely shocking. Tian Daozi is also secretly alarmed because Qin Yun is a bit stronger than he imagined. Moreover, he understands Qin Yun even more. Qin Yun is definitely hiding one or even two or three tricks. After all, I am at the origin realm. My body is strong and invincible. These space transformation realm experts are still too weak. Qin Yun is not afraid at all when facing a single space transformation realm descendant of the Divine Sun. The descendant of the Divine Sun immediately realized that he is not Qin Yun's match. While feeling shocked in his heart, he also calmed down. His body once again erupted with power and broke through Qin Yun's supergravity suppression. He wants to slip away. However, the heavenly law FA spirit's technique is already prepared. Several heavenly rune characters formed a large net that enveloped the descendant of the Divine Sun. It quickly wrapped him up inside and outside, several layers. All right, it's all thanks to your appearance that I managed to buy some time to form this net. The heavenly law FA spirit stored away the descendant of the Divine Sun, smiled at Qin Yun, and said, Qin Yun, we finally meet. You're not as handsome as me. Damn, Baldy, don't be so narcissistic. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, I help you capture him successfully. When are you going to work in the fields and help me mine? Chapter 3366. The heavenly Tao Fa Ling was stunned. Although he, the heavenly Tao, had once been killed by someone and only his soul was left, he had still been the heavenly Tao that had once ruled over the 9 desolates in his previous life. Now, he was a powerhouse that had surpassed the divine space realm in this universe. In front of him, there was someone who treated him like a tool. To be honest, he did not reject being a tool. Back then, he was the heavenly Tao, and he was just a tool. However, he hoped that he could become a decent tool. I can help you right now. The heavenly Tao Law Spirit could only smile and agree. After all, Qin Yin had helped him greatly. Qin Yin took out the heaven-leaping shuttle. You're still keeping this thing? The heavenly Law Fa Spirit sighed. With your participation, I hope my progress will be faster. Qin Yin smiled and said, Heavenly Tao Law Spirit, when the time comes, don't hide anything. You must display your strongest strength and help me quickly dig out more divine universe goldstones. In order to help the heavenly Tao Law Spirit, Qin Yin had left behind a large group of people. Now that he was done helping the heavenly Tao Law Spirit, he naturally wanted to use this tool ruthlessly. Definitely. The heavenly Law Fa Spirit smiled and nodded. That guy you caught, if he finds out anything, you better share it with me. Qin Yin said, Divine Sun descendants are very difficult to deal with. Especially now, they're also becoming stronger with the environment, making them even more difficult to deal with. Yes, the heavenly Law Fa Spirit sighed. A descendant of the Sun God, losing control, is one of the few miscalculations of the universe's Fa spirits. The heaven-leaping shuttle was flying towards the location of the divine inscription mountain to meet up with the main force. Although the speed of spatial travel was very fast, it would still take some time because the distance was very far. What is the use of the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal? Qin Yin said. Tian Dao Zi said that you need the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal very much. The divine Sun Blood Crystal can strengthen the soul. The divine Sun Blood Crystal can strengthen the body. The natural law, Fa Spirit said, this is what I knew before, but now it seems that the divine Sun Blood Crystal can make the soul stronger and thus stimulate the physical body to become stronger, and can even cause the physical body to become stronger. Qin Yin was secretly delighted. His soul was relatively weak now and could not keep up with his body. Furthermore, his physical body also had a lot of potential that had yet to be unleashed. This divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal seemed to be very suitable for him. However, the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal is very special. Its energy is drained very quickly. It's extremely difficult to replenish its energy. The natural law, Fa Spirit said, I need to store some of the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal's energy to research on how to deal with the divine Sun's descendants. Why would a divine Sun descendant know how to use the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal? Qin Yun asked. It was revealed to the Cosmos God race by the Cosmos Law Spirit. After the Cosmos God race tried it, they discovered that after they fused, they could become so strong that they could surpass the control of the Cosmos Law Spirit. In addition, they found a very large piece of divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal, so they secretly did this. Heavenly Law Spirit Tao. What's going on with those Dharma Spirit Sons of Heaven? Qin Yun recalled the Fowling Son of Heaven he met in Hualing Imperial City. They seem to be here for the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal. Originally, they were ordered to take away the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal, but they found out that the divine Sun Blood Seed Crystal could make them stronger, so they did not take it away for the time being. Instead, they wanted to personally see if it was true. Heavenly Law Spirit Tao. One more question. Why do you know so much? Qin Yin looked at the heavenly Tao Dharma Spirit. The natural law Spirit laughed and said, Because I am also a Dharma Spirit Son of Heaven now. Qin Yin frowned, but he did not immediately become vigilant. Although he was very unhappy with this incomparably handsome bald man, he knew that the bald man in front of him could be trusted. Aren't you going to ask me about the ancient desolate? The natural law Spirit laughed. How are my parents? Qin Yin was indeed very curious about the ancient desolate, but he was even more concerned about the safety of his parents. When I left, they were all fine. I spent a lot of effort to escape from the ancient desolate. The smile on the natural law spirit's face gradually disappeared. Escape? Qin Yin frowned again. Yes. Furthermore, it was the Nine-Yang Law Spirit and the Universe Law Spirit who joined hands to help me escape. The natural law spirit sighed. As for the ancient desolate, it should still be very stable. Qin Yin was stunned. What happened to the ancient desolate? The Nine-Yang Law Spirit and the Universe Law Spirit actually joined hands to bring out the natural law spirit. The ancient desolate has lost control? That place should be in charge of the Nine-Yang Law Spirit, right? Qin Yin asked. The Universe Law Spirit and the Nine-Yang Law Spirit both want to transform into humans. After they transform into humans, they naturally can't operate the laws of the various worlds and spaces. However, even if they don't transform into humans, the ancient desolate is not something they can control. The natural law spirit said, that place is a testing ground. There is a huge problem. It should be sealed now. Qin Yin is very worried about his parents. He has not seen them for many years, especially his mother. Don't worry, your parents will be fine. Father Heaven Extermination will take good care of your parents. The natural law spirit patted Qin Yin's shoulder. What exactly happened to the ancient desolate? Qin Yin asked. Let's put it this way. The descendants of the divine sun appeared in the ancient desolate and spread out. They're all very strong, and they are out of control. As for why they appeared, the Nine-Yang Law Spirit and the Universe Law Spirit don't know. The natural law spirit shook its head. I came to the divine desolate to find a way to exterminate them. Otherwise, if the ancient desolate seal is forced, it will spread here and it will be dangerous. Qin Yin knew that the Nine-Yang Law Spirit's so-called testing ground is very dangerous. He cursed in a low voice. How did this Nine-Yang Law Spirit come up with such a terrifying thing? The natural law spirit chuckled. What is the purpose of the Universe Law Spirit doing so many experiments? It is to create a powerful body so that they can transform into humans in the future. The Nine-Yang Law Spirit is also doing all kinds of experiments. And in this testing ground of the ancient desolate, there are all kinds of monsters created by them. What do you think? Qin Yin is speechless. None of these law spirits are good things. Thank you very much for telling me all this. I will give you some divine sun blood seed crystals energy. How much I will give you depends on the results of your labor. We are here. Go work. Qin Yun's heaven-leaping shuttle has already entered the divine mountain. After the natural law spirit came out, Qin Yun solemnly introduced him to everyone. After knowing that such a big shot was pulled by Qin Yun to work, everyone couldn't help but admire him. After all, this was a big shot who once dominated the order of the Nine Desolate. Although the Nine Desolate is no longer here, most of the people here have been taken care of by the heavenly tribulation created by the natural law spirit, especially Xiao Yuemei. The natural law spirit felt somewhat wronged, but he can't bear this kind of grievance alone. Therefore, he called the heavenly law altar. Tian Dao Zi and the group of bald experts joined in and crazily looted the Fire Ling Empire's big cities. 10 days later, Barbarian Emperor returned. He did not return alone. He returned with a group of people. After returning, Barbarian Emperor found out what happened after he left through his trusted subordinates. He immediately flew into a rage. He is angry that Qin Yin took advantage of his absence to suppress their camp. He is angry that his subordinates actually betrayed him. There is indeed a barbarian king who defected to the universe god race's side and even betrayed the barbarian race's interests. This is something that Barbarian Emperor cannot tolerate. Chapter 3367. Qin Yin had already plundered nearly 100 cities in the Fire Ling Empire and obtained more than 5 trillion divine universe goldstones. Although it was a lot, Qin Yin still felt that it was insufficient. Even if all these divine universe goldstones were used to create the divine Yang bloodline, there would only be about 100 of them. Thankfully, Gu Beast had earned a few trillion. When the time came, Qin Yun could sell the divine sun blood seed to him. The people that followed Qin Yun had more or less obtained quite a bit, but the one who obtained the most was still Qin Yun. In these past dozen days, everyone was also very tired. It could be said that they had desperately dug up divine universe goldstones. Tian Daozi felt terrible because he couldn't take a single divine universe medal. This was an order from the heavenly Tao, law's magical spirit. The group of bald experts were also very unhappy. They didn't get anything, and every time they attacked the city, they were always the ones charging at the front, doing the hardest, most tiring, dirtiest, and most dangerous work, but they didn't get anything. After he was done, Qin Yun did not immediately discuss the matter of the divine sun blood seed crystal with the heavenly Tao magic spirit. Instead, he stayed in the Nine Sun Sky Raising Pagoda with Xiao Xianqin. Xiao Yuanmei originally wanted to stay for a few more days, but Xiao Yuan urged her to go back quickly, saying that if she didn't go back, she might be discovered. This time, Xiao Xianqin had brought a few dukes with her and had gained quite a bit. Furthermore, this battle could also temper their team. Yu Yao Yao and the Nine Suns Kunpeng did not return to the fifth Divine Sunday. Instead, they went directly to the heavens-splitting treasure ground and went home for a stroll. The Nine Suns Kunpeng told her that she couldn't return to the fifth Divine Sunday. The descendants of the Divine Sun had already broken through the fifth Divine Sun. This news alarmed Qin Yun. The fifth Divine Sun was created by referencing the fourth Divine Sun, yet it failed to block the Divine Sun's descendant. Currently, out of the 8 myriad worlds' Divine Suns, 1, 2, 3, and 5 had all been breached by the descendants of the Divine Sun. This meant that there would be more and more descendants of the Divine Sun. When the barbarian emperor learned that Qin Yun robbed the Hualing Empire, although he was very angry, he did not do anything. He knew that if Qin Yun didn't snatch it, the Cosmos God race and the God Sun God descendant would definitely join hands to snatch it. Other than the Hualing Empire, more than 10 cities in the Great Blue Empire and the Great Hong Empire were also robbed. This was all done by the descendants of the Cosmos Gods and the God Sun God race. They even framed Qin Yun. Qin Yun is still the best. In a short span of 10 days, he has seized nearly 100 cities. The Cosmos God race and the descendants of the God Sun God race only seized 20 cities. Barbarian Emperor was in a secret room, looking at a huge map. The bloodthirsty barbarian king said solemnly, "We have 3 barbarian kings who have betrayed us. Each of them brought an army of 10 million to join the camps of the Cosmos God race and the God Sun God race. How should we deal with them? Let them be. This time, I've invited back a very powerful ally. Those traitors will regret this." Although this was what the barbarian emperor said, he was cursing those traitors in his heart. He knew that the all-heavens divine wilderness had undergone a huge change while he was away. For example, the monster created by the fusion of the Divine Sun descendant and the Cosmos God race was something he did not expect. Furthermore, the Dharma spirit son of heaven descended upon the divine wasteland and was killed. This God's desolate is truly unpredictable. If I wasn't careful, I would fall behind by so much. The barbarian emperor sighed. Inside the heavenly Tao altar, the heavenly Tao Dharma spirit smiled at Qin Yun. "Qin Yun, without my help, you would need at least 20 days to seize so many cities. Don't worry, I'm a man of my word," Qin Yun said, and then took out the divine sun blood seed crystal. Seeing the divine sun blood seed crystal, the heavenly Tao law spirit became very excited. He hastily took out a special power-storing pearl and began extracting the energy inside the divine sun blood seed crystal. "Don't extract it all." Qin Yun took out Barbarian Emperor's saber and deliberately shouted fiercely, "If you extract all the energy, I will chop you to death." Heavenly Tao Law Spirit chuckled and said, "Don't panic, I just want a bit of energy." Only Qin Yun and the Heavenly Tao Law Spirit are inside the secret room. This matter must be done in secret. The process of extracting energy from the divine sun blood seed crystal is very long and very slow. Qin Yun is very impatient. He took out the devil mirror and looked at it. He saw Xian Rujing, star deity, Lan Fengjin, and Hu Mei in a group. They're all sending all kind of pictures. They're fighting with each other. After looking at it for a while, he closed it. Then he opened Divine Moon Clan's group. There are also all kind of selfies and fighting with each other. Moreover, King Shuai-Yu is the leader. It is as if they have forgotten that the only man of Divine Moon Clan is in the group. Do they not see me as a man? Sending so many selfies. What a scandal. Qin Yun cursed in his heart. After looking at it for a while, he closed it, otherwise he would have lost himself in it. The most fatal thing is that Shimin Dazhuang is sending selfies everywhere. Moreover, he is taking selfies with a large number of Divine Universe Golden Stones. He is posing in all kinds of strange poses and expressions that he thinks are very handsome. It is very irritating to the eyes. Qin Yun really wants to delete Shimin Dazhuang's account in the background. But thinking about how Shimin Dazhuang can discuss Heavenly Dao Z and Heavenly Dao Law Spirit, he feels that it is necessary to keep his account. At this time, Luo Shu sent a message. Divine King, a big city of the Luo Empire is being attacked by Cosmos God race. The Luo Heavenly Emperor asked Barbarian Emperor for help, but Barbarian Emperor said that he has already lost Hua Ling Empire and the Luo Empire to Divine King. Therefore, the Luo Empire's big city is now under Divine King's control. Qin Yun glanced at Heavenly Dao Law Spirit, who is earnestly absorbing energy. Seeing Qin Yun's expression, Heavenly Dao Law Spirit has a bad premonition. Ha ha ha. Qin Yun suddenly laughed. Heavenly Dao Law Spirit's scalp immediately turned numb. He laughed bitterly. Qin Yun, if you have something to say, just say it. Do you want to fight with Cosmos God Race? Qin Yun laughed. I just received a piece of news that Cosmos God Race is attacking a big city of the Luo Empire. The Luo Empire belongs to the New Genesis race. They're robbing themselves. What has it got to do with us? Heavenly Dao Law Spirit did not want to go because he is afraid of facing those perfect God-Son descendants. The Luo Empire belongs to me now. Furthermore, those fellows are using my name to rob everywhere. I have to teach them a lesson and push the blame of all the big cities that have been robbed to their heads. Qin Yun said seriously. Although he does not care about his reputation, he still does not wish for many people to scold him. Especially recently, there are rumors everywhere that he robbed the Hua Ling Empire. He felt very wronged in his heart because he clearly hid it very well. How could he still be discovered? Furthermore, Cosmos God Race is also robbing. Why is no one talking about them? He immediately arranged for Ming Yongtian, Murong Darren, and the others to spread the evil deeds of Cosmos God Race and Godson descendants on the Magic Mirror platform. All right, but you have to take action too. Heavenly Dao Law Spirit said, you have to bring out your strongest power. That's for sure. I want to annihilate the bandits who are robbing the big cities in Nine Suns' sacred land and let the entire deity's heaven God desolate know that I, the God King, am not just for show. Qin Yun said righteously. Heavenly Dao Law Spirit felt a burst of disdain in his heart. The biggest bandit in deity's heaven God desolate is clearly you, Qin Yun. Qin Yun immediately replied to Luo Shu, saying that he will definitely take action and asked her and Luo Yingtian to prepare. He also asked Luo Yingtian to inform Barbarian Emperor that he will be participating in the battle. He asked Barbarian Emperor to be present and see how powerful the God King of deities Heaven God Desolate is. Chapter 3368. The next day, sure enough, Xiao Zhonghan set up a stage in the estate and invited Miss Chu inside to listen to the opera. The man hugged the beauty as he sat in the main seat. The servants below all lowered their heads, not daring to breathe loudly. Qingwan, this grape is very sweet. You should also try one. Out of the corner of his eye, Xiao Zhonghan glanced at the corner of a sleeve outside the door. The corners of his mouth hooked up wickedly, but his words were incomparably gentle. Shenxi's footsteps paused. Her eyes fell on the man's handsome face, and a sour feeling suddenly rose from the bottom of her heart. In the 7 years they had been married, he had never treated her so gently. As if sensing her gaze, the man lifted his eyes without the slightest trace of gentleness from before. This commander and Qingwan have already been waiting for a long time. Why did you only come out now? Dilly-dallying. Do you feel wrong by singing for this commander? His eyes were full of ridicule. Shenxi's face was pale. No. Forcefully suppressing the bitterness in her heart, she flung her sleeves, and her voice rose in spirals. Following her voice, Xiao Zhonghan's expression became increasingly unsightly, and the hand holding Chu Qingwan's waist also tightened. Young commander? Chu Qingwan raised her eyes to look at him. However, he seemed to have not heard her. His eyes narrowed as he coldly stared at the thin figure below. I didn't expect that Governor Shen's daughter would be so good at singing. Shenxi's eyelashes trembled. No matter what it was, as long as he said it, she would do it. But it was like this. It was this kind of obedience, this kind of resignation that caused Xiao Zhonghan's heart to suddenly surge with a monstrous fury. Someone come. Young commander. Go. Bring over 1,000 steels. Yes. The servant hurriedly accepted the order and left. The remaining servants were even more terrified. Only Chu Qingwan looked at Xiao Zhonghan with a thoughtful expression. Soon, that person came up with a large tray. The tray was filled with steel. Xiao Zhonghan looked at the steels and suddenly released Chu Qingwan's arm. He reached out to take the tray. Young commander. A voice sounded and Xiao Zhonghan looked over. Chu Qingwan's voice was inquisitive. Do you really hate her? Xiao Zhonghan's cold eyes narrowed. Naturally. If she dies, what will happen to the young commander? Chu Qingwan asked almost instinctively. Xiao Zhonghan's eyes flashed as he shot a glance at the woman who was still singing. His voice abruptly turned ice-cold. If she dies, this marshal will wear a red ribbon and hold a banquet to celebrate. As soon as he finished speaking, his hand moved, and the room was filled with the sound of clanging steel. Shenxi, you sang very well today. This 1,000 yuan, is this marshal's reward to you? After he finished speaking, he turned around and left. Behind him, Shenxi's footsteps were disrupted by the rolling steel. She fell heavily to the ground, but she didn't even cry out in pain. She just kept her head down, unable to hide the tears and despair in her eyes. After a long while, Madam, the young commander has already left. Chu Qingwan's voice sounded. Shenxi didn't raise her head. She just nodded and propped herself up. She turned around and walked straight with what little self-respect she had left. However, she had only taken 2 steps when a voice filled with pity and compassion called out to her from behind, Madam. She paused. Good and evil will eventually be repaid. In fact, Madam doesn't need to feel sorry for herself. When you used a scheme against the young commander and your own younger sister, you should have long thought of today's situation. YYLS whoosh. The color of blood instantly faded from Shenxi's face. Chapter 33-69. The major powers in the 9 Suns sacred ground all knew of the existence of the cosmic gods' race. Everyone in the cities of the sacred ground had heard of them. In most people's eyes, the cosmic gods' race was a high and mighty existence. Their status was far above that of the barbarian race, and they were also very powerful. The people in that big city found out that the cosmic gods' race had invaded. They found it hard to believe. To them, the cosmic gods' race should be in the camp of the new beginners. Why would they rob the cities of the Daluo and Hualing empires? Soon, they remembered that the 2 empires had been lost to Qin Yun by the barbarian emperor, so they were robbed. No, because the cities of the Great Blue Empire and the Great Hong Empire were robbed too. The worst was the Hualing Empire, while the Daluo Empire only had this big city robbed. This meant that the Cosmos God race did not target the Hualing Imperial City and the Luo Imperial City that Qin Yun was in charge of. Then what was Qin Yun doing before? Why did he not appear when Hualing Emperor City was robbed? This question appeared in everyone's mind. Then, They remembered that the Hualing celestial emperor was very disrespectful to Qin Yun. Everyone in the Hualing emperor city did not accept Qin Yun, especially the city lords who took the lead in insulting the divine king and resisting the myriad realms' divine court's entry. The Daluo Empire was different. The Daluo celestial emperor ordered the city lords to cooperate with the myriad realms' divine court to take over. Moreover, there was no resistance in the city. If anyone dared to resist, they would be caught, beaten, and thrown out of the city. Now that a big city of the Daluo Empire was robbed, it made sense that Qin Yun jumped out to stop it. After all, the Daluo Empire was a very obedient child. People in the city, the divine king, is very worried about everyone. Now that he has risked his life to save everyone, do you think this divine king is worthy of everyone's respect? The natural law spirit rushed over and shouted, "The divine king is mighty! The divine king is mighty!" The people in the city shouted in unison. The natural law spirit did it on purpose. If he could not win, he would escape. Then Qin Yun, who was hiding, would definitely come out. He thought that Qin Yun had already escaped and wanted to leave this mess to him. The 7 universe transformation realm experts of the cosmos god race might be skinny, but their expressions were fierce. They had a sinister and ruthless aura, and their bodies emitted an evil aura of the god Sunblood seed. The most frightening thing was that the black sabers in their hands were emitting an especially dense, evil aura. The black aura that they spewed out emitted a dense, evil aura that whistled through the air. The heavenly law, Fa Ling, also had a weapon in his hand. It was a long rod that was bright and dazzling. At this moment, he also braced himself and charged towards the 7 space transformation realm experts. At this moment, the barbarian emperor and the sword elder looked at the heaven law Dharma spirit seriously. They wanted to see how he would face these 7 powerful space transformation realm people. On the side of the cosmos gods, not all 7 of them rushed forward at the same time. Instead, one of them came out to fight. This person's attack was very crude. When he saw the heavenly law magic spirit coming over, he directly rushed over and slashed down with his saber. The heavenly law Dharma spirit instantly determined that it could not block this saber head-on. However, he was still a little too slow, and his entire arm was split open. Even though one of his arms was severed, the heavenly law Dharma spirit could be considered to have dodged successfully. He pulled apart the distance between him and that person. That cosmos god who came out to fight gave a sinister smile. Then he opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of energy toward the severed arm of the heavenly law Dharma spirit, directly shattering the arm. The people within the city saw the baldy in the sky, getting his arm severed in a single exchange. They immediately felt disappointed. Furthermore, they knew that it was not Qin Yun, because Qin Yun was not a baldy. Are all the subordinates of Qin Yun this kind of trash? That person pointed a saber at the heavenly law Dharma spirit and sneered. Qin Yun sent you alone, and you want to obstruct us? Even though the heavenly law Dharma spirit was looked down upon, he was not angry at all. Instead, he laughed. The God King is everywhere. It is as easy as flipping his palm for him to kill all of you. The reason why he has not acted yet is because he is hesitating whether he should dirty his hands to kill you bunch of trash. Qin Yun cursed in his heart. This heavenly law Dharma spirit had the same bad habit as Heaven Dao child Shimen Dazhuang. They both love to boast. He is forcing me to show myself. This fellow deliberately let one of his arms be severed so that he would not have to fight bitterly in the future. Truly crafty. He has the same crafty thoughts as Heaven Dao child. How could Qin Yun not see through the ploy of the heavenly law Dharma spirit? Not to mention a severed arm. Even if his head was blasted apart, Heaven Dao child could similarly regrow his head. I think Qin Yun does not dare to come. Barbarian Emperor is watching by the side. Furthermore, he even brought an expert from the depths of the cosmos. Even if he came previously, he would definitely be frightened away. Only a foolish subordinate like you is still bragging about Qin Yun here. Even I feel sad for you. That person sneered. "Rest assured, I will properly play with you and ruthlessly torture you. I don't want to see if this tortoise Chinyan dares to come or not." The heavenly law Dharma spirit was very happy in his heart. The effect he wanted was achieved. This way, even if Chinyan did not want to act, he would still have to act. That cosmos god controlled his saber to float behind his back. He did not plan to use his saber to fight. Just as he was about to go over, he suddenly felt a powerful gravitational force pressing down on him from all directions, causing him to be unable to move. He immediately realized that Qin Yun had come. Qin Yun had always been near this person, just that nobody could discover him. That person suddenly roared furiously. One could see a deep saber wound on his back. Blood that was flickering with golden light was oozing out. At the same time, there was a sinister black aura coming out. Everyone was greatly startled. Just now, this powerful cosmos god was actually sneak attacked by someone. Even though sneak attacks were shameless, it was still quite amazing to sneak an attack on such an expert. Qin Yun was also very startled. His powerful saber could not cut apart the body of this cosmos god. He could only leave behind a scar. Barbarian Emperor's saber is not good enough. The saber in Qin Yun's hand felt as though it was about to crack, because when it reached the bone, it felt as though it had touched something hard. Seeing their comrade being sneak attacked, the other 6 cosmos gods could not sit still. They had just moved when they felt their bodies becoming light. They were lifted up by gravity and floated lightly. They cannot control their bodies at all. At this moment, an enormous golden seal the size of a small mountain appeared out of nowhere. It came crashing down from above, pressing down on that injured cosmos god. At the same time, when the huge seal pressed down, it produced intense golden light and flames. Even though the God King Heavenly Seal could not help Qin Yun improve his cultivation, it still contained a powerful energy. After all, this was a bloodline heavenly pattern box. By absorbing the energy from the divine cosmos golden rock, it would become stronger. Seeing the appearance of the God King Heavenly Seal, everyone knew that Qin Yun had truly come. The power of the God King Heavenly Seal was shocking. The cosmos god at the universe transformation realm was pressed down. His body felt like it was sealed. Furthermore, he felt incomparable pain. He fell onto the ground and rolled about while screaming. Qin Yun snatched away that black saber filled with sinister energy. He rapidly kept the God King Heavenly Seal before remaining invisible. Mobile users, please visit Chapter 3370. This Cosmos God Race Space Transformation Realm expert was actually very powerful. Otherwise, he would have been killed by Qin Yun. One had to know that Qin Yun did not need to release the God King Heavenly Seal to suppress those Dharma Spirit Heaven Sons. Qin Yun could not kill the 2 Dharma Spirit Heaven Sons who grasped powerful array discs. He could only trap them. The heavenly Tao Law Spirit looked at the Cosmos God Race clansmen rolling on the ground and heaved a sigh of relief. Qin Yun did not slip away, and he hid very well. Qin Yun, who suddenly attacked, was indeed, as the heavenly Tao Law Spirit said, everywhere. The Cosmos God Race clansman who was previously ridiculing Qin Yun was beaten to the ground in a blink of an eye. Qin Yun could not kill this space transformation realm expert in a short period of time. The strength of his fleshly body was hard to destroy. It would take a long time to completely destroy it. Furthermore, this space transformation realm expert soul was very powerful. When Qin Yun attacked just now, he could clearly feel the mental energy impact from the other party. If not for Qin Yun wearing the heaven hat, he might have been knocked unconscious by the other party. Barbarian Emperor did not see Qin Yun appear, nor could he sense Qin Yun. He despised Qin Yun in his heart. This was how he was defeated by Qin Yun previously. Sword Elder, did you sense Qin Yun just now? Barbarian Emperor asked. Sword Elder did not answer because he really did not sense Qin Yun. But he could not say it, lest he was looked down upon. If the other party suddenly disappeared during battle, it would be very dangerous. It would be easy for a sneak attack to succeed. Qin Yun was very powerful, especially his fleshly body. With such a powerful fleshly body, he did not need to sneak attacks at all. But from Qin Yun's point of view, this was the safest way. He was not a hot-blooded young man who would fight in an open and above-board manner. If he could succeed in a sneak attack, he would not fight head-on. Although it was a bit wretched, at least he would not put himself in a desperate situation. Previously, after he was almost killed by the 9 heavenly law spirit, he decided to walk this path in the future. Now, there were still 6 Cosmos God Race Space Transformation Realm experts. They realized Qin Yun's treachery and knew that they could not attack one by one. They did not look at their comrade who was knocked to the ground because they knew that he was only heavily injured and would not die. In the deity Desolate, it was not easy to kill them quickly unless one's strength far surpassed them. Qin Yun was indeed stronger than them, but not by much. Qin Yun, who was hiding in the shadows, secretly prepared the heavenly pattern characters. He placed the other bloodline heavenly pattern boxes into the God King heavenly seal, and at the same time placed a large number of divine universe goldstones. This way, the heavenly pattern formed by the godly monarch heaven seal would be even stronger. Are the godly monarchs of the deity Desolation always so sneaky? You only know how to launch sneak attacks? A space transformation realm expert floated high in the sky, his hand tightly grasping a saber, looking around with incomparable vigilance. What's the point of hiding? Show yourself if you have the guts. Another space transformation stage expert shouted in rage. Qin Yun was not that foolish. Now, they were going to fight to the death. There was only to talk about whether he had the guts or not. As long as he killed the other party, he would be considered a hero if he could survive. Suddenly, a powerful light lit up in the sky. It was right behind a space transformation realm powerhouse. Qin Yun suddenly appeared with a godly monarch heavenly seal in his hand. His arm shot out like lightning as the heavenly seal charged straight at the back of the space transformation realm's head. Bang! A heavenly character was imprinted on the back of that person's head. That space transformation realm powerhouse immediately hugged his head and screamed miserably. Then he fell to the ground and rolled. Qin Yun had fused the 3 heavenly characters of fire, seal, and pain. What he attacked was the other party's soul. Although he was unable to destroy the soul of a powerful divine sun descendant, it was still possible to make the other party suffer so much pain that he could not retaliate. Another space transformation realm was defeated. Barbarian Emperor's heart jumped. He felt that Qin Yun had become so much stronger in just a few days. He began to worry that the Sword Elder he brought back would not be able to defeat Qin Yun. The Heavenly Law FA Spirit also admitted that Qin Yun's sneak attacks were indeed very beautiful. Even he wanted to learn from it. After concealing himself, no one would be able to sense him. This was truly too dangerous. The remaining 5 Cosmos God Race Space Transformation Realms were constantly on guard against Qin Yun. Furthermore, they walked together so that they could take care of each other. The 2 Space Transformation Realm powerhouses that were beaten to the ground by Qin Yun suddenly disappeared. They were captured by Qin Yun and thrown into the shell that sealed the ancient beast. They were placed together with the 2 FA Spirit Heavenly Sons. Every time Qin Yun used the Divine King Heavenly Seal, he would need to consume 1 trillion Divine Universe Golden Stones. Just now, he had used 2 trillion, so he had to capture the 2 Space Transformation Realms, otherwise he would suffer a loss. From his point of view, the energy contained within the bodies of the 2 Space Transformation Realms could be refined into a Divine Sun Blood Seed. Refining one would be at least 5 trillion. Selling it to the Ancient Beast, or the Heavenly Law FA Spirit would be a profit. If the Heavenly Law FA Spirit knew that Qin Yun was thinking of getting rich, he would definitely curse Qin Yun's face. The Ancient Beast transformed into a horse and watched from afar. He did not make a move. Qin Yun already arrived beside the Ancient Beast and said in a low voice, "Little horse, it's time for you to make a move. Charge over and scatter those fellows. You can do it, right?" "All right." The ancient beast needed the divine sun bloodseed from Qin Yun, so he listened to Qin Yun. The ancient beast immediately rushed over at an extremely fast speed. Although he transformed into a horse and flew in the air, his speed was first class. Those few space transformation realms were inferior to him. The most terrifying thing was that he was a horse just now, but when he rushed over, he turned into a very hard-headed nine-sun Kuan Peng. After he transformed into a nine-sun Kuan Peng, although his body was not big, his explosive power was extremely strong. Furthermore, his body flickered with intense light as he absorbed the power of the myriad realms' divine Sunday. After the ancient beast saw the nine-sun Kuan Peng, he could transform into it. He transformed into a nine-sun Kuan Peng and swallowed quite a few divine universe metal stones. Boom! The sudden appearance of the ancient beast caught the few space transformation realms by surprise. In order to avoid being hit, they could only scatter. The heavenly law FA spirit also attacked at this time, trying his best to scatter these few people so that Qin Yun could capture them one by one. Qin Yun acted very quickly. Very soon, he captured another one and stuffed it into the hard shell. With the ancient beast and the heavenly law FA spirit working together, the remaining four space transformation realms became more and more difficult as they were defeated by Qin Yun one by one. The heavenly law FA spirit was secretly jealous of Qin Yun because this time, Qin Yun had captured 7 fused bodies of cosmos gods and divine sun descendants. He was overjoyed to death when he captured one with Qin Yun's help. Qin Yun indeed needed these fellows because this way he could study how to deal with them. The divine sun descendants within the myriad realms' divine sun might grow to such a stage in the future. He had to find a way to restrain them as soon as possible. Otherwise, if they were to grow and spread in the deity desolate, it would definitely be out of control. At that time, he would be powerless to reverse the situation. Chapter 3371. Great Luo Empire's crisis was temporarily averted. The people in the city were very grateful to Qin Yun. As such, everyone in the Nine Suns Sacred Ground thought that the Huoling Empire was robbed by the Cosmos God race. This matter spread across the deity wasteland in no time, and the reputation of the Cosmos God race quickly became extremely bad. Even the big cities of the Great Blue Empire and the Great Hong Empire were in a state of panic. They were worried that their cities would be robbed. One must know that the people in these cities had all bought land and houses. If they were robbed, they would suffer heavy losses. The Cosmos God race was one of the big shots on the side of the new beginning humans, but they took the lead in seizing the big cities. This led to a period of internal chaos in the new beginning humans camp. Barbarian Emperor was also very dissatisfied with the Cosmos God's race because 3 of his subordinates, barbarian kings, had sided with the Cosmos God's race. Now, he also knew that the Cosmos God race had fused with the descendants of the God Sun. The souls of the God Sun descendants fused into the bodies of the Cosmos Gods. They were using the name of the Cosmos Gods to move around. Sword Elder, do you want to fight with Qin Yun now? The barbaric emperor asked. There's no need to fight now, Sword Elder coldly said. In fact, he cannot sense Qin Yun at all. How is he going to fight? He believed that he could definitely beat Qin Yun. However, Qin Yun had hidden himself. If he lost his target, it would be very embarrassing. Barbarian Emperor seemed to have noticed something, but he did not say anything. He believed that Old Sword's strength was not any weaker than Qin Yun's. It was just that Qin Yun was too cunning. He had been concealing himself all this time, so even if Old Sword was stronger than Qin Yun, he would not be able to make a move. I can help you kill the traitor, the Sword Elder said again. He had to find something to do to show off his strength, and also to cover up the embarrassment of not being able to sense Qin Yun. Sure, but it's still quite dangerous. Barbarian Emperor had also obtained some information regarding the Cosmos God race. He knew that they had used the God Sun blood seed crystal to fuse with the God Sun descendant and become extremely powerful. Barbarian Emperor and Sword Elder left. The natural law FA spirit also secretly heaved a sigh of relief. He had just sensed the existence of the Sword Elder and was locked onto by the Sword Elder from time to time, which gave him a lot of pressure. What? Are you afraid of the guy that the barbarian sovereign brought back? Qin Yun sent a voice transmission to the heavenly Tao Dharma spirit. Of course I'm afraid. That guy is very strong. It should be one of the experimental products of the Cosmos Dharma spirit, and a very successful one at that. The heavenly law spirit side. I wonder how many more of these fellows are there in the universe. If we fight, he might not be able to defeat me, Qin Yun said with a smile. The barbarian sovereign must have invited him here to deal with me. But he didn't attack just now. Do you know why? Because he can't sense you. Without a target, no matter how strong he is, what use is it? The heavenly Tao law spirit shook his head with a smile. He could not sense Qin Yun either. If he were to fight Qin Yun, there was no way he could win. After settling the matter of the city, Qin Yun took out the heaven leaping shuttle. The heavenly Tao Dharma spirit and the ancient beast entered the heaven leaping shuttle. The heavenly law spirit had already captured a cosmos god race universe transformation realm expert. He also had the energy of the god sun blood seed crystal. He was about to start researching it. Qin Yun sent him back to the heavenly law altar and then left with Gu Jiao. The ancient beast likes the divine inscription mountain very much. He said that the people there speak very well, and all of them are talented. The divine inscription mountain was now in the Dragon Prefecture, which was also the Dragon Snake Treasure Land. Qin Yun immediately teleported there. The Imperial Sky Pawn Shop was also present. Everyone was gathered in the Dragon Prefecture outside the Nine Suns Sacred Ground to avoid being hunted down by people from the Sacred Ground. Qin Yun also had some free time now. He released the Nine Sun Heaven Raising Pagoda and entered it. He began fiddling with his matters. First, he had to help Gu Jiao create a God Sun Blood Seed. To Qin Yun, this could be completed very quickly. He needed 5 trillion Divine Universe Golden Stones to create a God Sun Blood Seed. It would take 6 trillion for Gu Jiao and only earn a little from him. The heavenly law spirit told Qin Yun that although the Cosmos God race had several thousand powerful universe transformation realm experts, they created this batch of universe transformation realm experts mainly for the 9th Divine Sunday. Because as long as one controlled the 9th Divine Sun, it was equivalent to controlling the strongest Divine Sun in the Divine Desolate. The 9th Divine Sun that was born last was the strongest. Within its core, there was a very large God Sun Blood Seed crystal. It was placed inside by the Nine Sun Law Spirit in order to create the strongest myriad realms Divine Sunday. Qin Yun was not too worried about the control of the 9th Divine Sun because he had the Nine Sun Law Spirit. He was mainly worried that something would happen to the Nine Sun Goddess and that it would affect the Divine Moon of the heavens. Yu Shangyun had now controlled the Divine Moon of the heavens. She was comprehending new cultivation techniques inside and wanted to create a cultivation technique suitable for the Divine Moon race so that the female Divine Moon race could surpass the Divine Space Realm. Also, Qin Yun was more concerned about the group of Divine Sun descendants. If the Divine Sun descendants were not destroyed, they would appear continuously and be absorbed by the Cosmos God race. Then, a large number of universe transformation realm monsters would appear. This would be the greatest source of unrest in the Divine Desolate. In the Nine Sun Heaven Raising Pagoda, Qin Yun used a large number of Divine Universe Golden Stones to frantically create God Sun Blood Seeds. A month passed. Qin Yun created a total of more than 100 God Sun Blood Seeds and used 5 trillion Divine Universe Golden Stones. And during this period of time, many big cities in the Nine Sun Sacred Ground were robbed. They were all from the Great Blue Empire and the Great Hong Empire. The Cosmos God race did not dare to rob the big cities of the Great Luo Empire because their universe transformation realm experts were also very precious. Moreover, they did not have the confidence to defeat Qin Yun, so they did not dare to make a move. Barbarian Emperor finally made a move. He finally took action and represented the new Genesis humans to resist the universe transformation realm experts of the cosmos god race. His action made Qin Yun feel very surprised. This meant that the internal strife of the new Genesis humans had begun. Moreover, it was Barbarian Emperor who took the lead and started a war against the strongest cosmos god race in this camp. Qin Yun obtained a good news. The god judge had also stepped into the universe transformation realm. It was the heavenly Tao Law spirit who guided him. During this period of time, the heavenly Tao Law spirit became a Tao preacher and guided many big shots in the primal camp to cultivate. For example, Dragon Turtle King, Long Shu, Nine Dragon King, Strange Cat King, and others were all comprehending the universe transformation realm under the guidance of the heavenly Tao Law spirit. The deities within the myriad realms' divine court also frequently listened to the Tao preaching of the heavenly Tao Law spirit. Their comprehension was quite deep, and they were very close to stepping into the universe transformation realm. The heavenly Tao Law spirit and the Nine-Yang Law spirit had a close relationship. This universe transformation realm cultivation technique was also improved by the Nine-Yang Law spirit and was suitable for primal people to cultivate. During this month, the heavenly Tao Law spirit often came to find Qin Yun for the energy of the God's Sun blood seed crystal. This energy could help people step into the universe transformation realm. Qin Yun was also willing to give the energy of the God Sun blood seed crystal. The primal camp had many treasured lands. The big shots of the powerful races that controlled these treasured lands were all willing to use large amounts of divine universe goldstones to purchase the energy of the God's Sun blood seed crystal in exchange for breaking through to the universe transformation realm. Qin Yun began to study the God Sun blood seed crystal. He also had a great harvest from the few cosmos god race space transformation realm experts. The gods desolate was not peaceful during this period of time. There would be quite a bit of activity every few days. It was all caused by the Barbarian Emperor and the cosmos god race. Qin Yun had been quiet for more than 2 months. However, today, because a huge translucent ball of light appeared in the sky, he could no longer remain quiet. Standing on a 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda, he looked at the faintly discernible huge ball of light in the sky. He could see that it was the embryonic form of the 9th divine Sunday. Chapter 33:72. Qin Yun immediately contacted Xiao Yuelon through the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda, but he could not contact her. The 9th divine sun is already showing signs of coming into being. Qin Yun is very worried about what is happening inside, but he can't contact Xiao Yuelon. Xiao Yuelon previously said that she would bring Qin Yun to participate in the battle inside the 9th divine Sunday. She definitely did not say that perfunctorily. I can't contact her. I don't know what happened. Qin Yun is very anxious, but there is nothing he can do because he doesn't know how to enter that mysterious space. The strange movement in the sky is very shocking. The entire divine desolate is in jubilation. Because in most people's opinion, after the 9th divine sun comes into being, the 9 myriad realms divine suns will be considered perfect. It will be very beneficial to the living beings of the divine desolate. This is also the case, provided that nothing goes wrong and the control of the myriad realms divine sun does not fall into the hands of others. Yushang Yun, who has not heard from her for a long time, also contacted Qin Yun. Yun, is there any news from the 9-sun divine maiden? Yushang Yun asked. She is also very concerned about the 9th divine Sunday. No. Did they contact you? Qin Yun asked. Also no. What about the 9-sun law spirit? Did they give you any instructions? Yushang Yun asked again. It would be great if they gave me instructions. I don't know what to do now. It's like I'm an outsider. Qin Yun sighed. The little divine moon law spirit is not in a hurry. She wants me to continue increasing my strength. Yushang Yun said, you shouldn't be in a hurry. The reason why you feel like an outsider now is because your responsibility is not with the 9 myriad realms divine suns, but with the divine desolate and dealing with the descendants of the divine sun. Maybe Qin Yun asked, Sister Shangyun, how is your cultivation situation now? I have already comprehended the essentials of the origin realm. Just a little bit more, I will be able to step into the origin realm very soon. I heard that their cultivation is mainly at the space transformation realm. This is the cultivation path jointly created by the universe law spirit and the nine sun law spirit. Yu Shangyun said, Yes, and it is very mature and relatively easy. Qin nodded. I have fought with the space transformation realm before. They're definitely not as strong as us origin realm. It was more difficult to walk the path of returning to the beginning. First, one needed resources such as the divine sun bloodline. Yu Shangyun had the mystic moon blood seed, and she was not lacking either, so there was naturally no problem. Most people in the divine wilderness believe that it was best to walk the space transformation path because it would be easier to obtain the divine sun blood seed crystal's energy in the future. The ninth divine sun's core contained the divine sun blood seed crystal. It was placed inside by the nine suns law spirit. Once the ninth divine sun was born, the divine sun blood seed crystal would be of great use. The blood seed crystal's light would illuminate the entire divine desolate. The heavenly laws Dharma spirit also said that the power of the ninth divine sun's blood seed crystal could be replicated by the cores of the other 8 myriad divine suns. The 9 myriad worlds' god suns will all have god sun blood seed crystals. The heavens god desolate will become even more powerful and will be able to create an extremely powerful barrier. The living beings in the heavens god desolate will not have their cultivation taken back by the universe. This was only a more ideal result. When that time came, he would have to worry about the descendants of the divine sun god. No one knew how the descendants of the divine sun would evolve after absorbing the energy of the divine sun blood seed crystal. Qin Yun and Yu Shangyun exchanged cultivation experiences. Yu Shangyun also said that after she stepped into the origin realm, she would try out her improved Sun and Moon Heart Sutra. Both of them were at the origin realm, and then they would cultivate together. She wanted to see what kind of reaction there would be. This made Qin Yun secretly excited. He felt that Yu Shangyun was flirting with him. After ending the communication, Qin Yun immediately returned to the nine sun heaven raising pagoda. Sister Shangyun has the help of the divine moon's little Dharma spirit. Maybe she will become very strong after entering the origin realm. I can't lose to her. I have to cultivate immediately. Qin Yun also has more than 100 divine sun blood seeds. He began extracting the divine sun blood seed liquid from them. Then he circulated the imperial heaven divine technique and began cultivating. He only dug out the power of his arm. More than 100 divine sun blood seeds were enough for him to dig out all the hidden power in his body. He could reach the great circle of the origin realm. The heavenly laws Dharma spirit continued to pass down the Tao. He no longer needed the energy of Qin Yun's divine sun blood seed crystal because the ninth divine sun could already emit this kind of energy. The ninth divine sun has not completely come out, but there is light descending on the earth. The heavenly laws Dharma spirit began to organize people to set up a formation to gather the energy of the divine sun blood seed crystal. It was not only the heavenly laws Dharma spirit who did this. The barbarian emperor, the cosmos god race, and the other factions all sensed it and immediately took action. Some of the beasts in the divine desolate heavens had good perception. After sensing the energy of the divine sun blood seed crystal, they could figure out how to cultivate to the space transformation realm. In just a short span of 10 days, the divine desolate heavens underwent another transformation. The mountains, rivers, and all living things on the earth transformed because of the weak light of the ninth divine sun. It has such powerful power even before it was completely born. How powerful would it be if it was born? Qin Yun now understood even more why the cosmos god's Dharma spirit wanted to fight for the ninth divine sun. The heavenly laws Dharma spirit sped up the Tao. As long as the gods of the myriad realms' divine court could step into the space transformation realm, coupled with the clan kings of the various powerful races, as well as the upper echelons of the powerful races, they would not need to fear the cosmos god race and the barbarian race camp for the time being. What worried the heavenly law's Dharma spirit was that after the ninth divine son was completely born, would a new super strong race be born? Would the descendants of the divine son and the cosmos god race become stronger? Would the various powerful beings hidden in the depths of the universe be attracted? Furthermore, what kind of seal would there be in this mysterious and unfathomable universe? After all, the ninth divine son might be born with the power of transcendence. The heavenly law's Dharma spirit was currently very busy, managing Qin Yun in the myriad realms divine court. He often summoned the clan kings of the various powerful races to make all kinds of arrangements and overall plans. He also planned for everyone to establish a communication network and gather the divine universe metal stones. It could be said that he was a very competent tool. The one who understood the divine court the most was none other than the heavenly law's Dharma spirit. Back in the divine palace, the heavenly law's Dharma spirit had participated in the creation of all kinds of deity positions. Qin Yun was very comfortable being a hands-off shopkeeper. The heavenly law's Dharma spirit did not have any complaints. After all, he was originally a professional at doing such things. From his point of view, Qin Yun was only responsible for being a hired thug. He was the highest deterrent force in the myriad realms divine court. After using up 70 divine sun blood seeds, Qin Yun finally reached the great circle of the origin realm. He was confident that he could defeat the nine heavens Dharma spirit. My soul has yet to return to the beginning. I have to use the divine sun blood seed crystal to cultivate. Qin Yun did not cultivate his soul because he still had Malur's secret help in the aspect of soul and mental power. He went into seclusion for another month. The ninth divine sun still has not completely appeared, but the multicolored light is getting stronger and stronger. Qin Yun still could not contact Xiao Yuelon, so he planned to directly rush to the ninth divine sun and go in to take a look. Chapter 3373. Qin Yun did not know the exact situation of the ninth divine sun, nor did he know what would happen if he entered now. It would be best if he could figure out the situation, but the problem now was that he could not contact Xiao Yuelon, so he could not directly know the situation inside. Just as the heavenly law Dharma spirit had said, neither the nine sons Dharma spirit nor the nine sons divine ladies wanted him to get involved. This meant that the ninth divine son's matter had nothing to do with him. Qin Yun's greatest responsibility as a divine king was to find a way to restrain the descendants of the divine son. The descendants of the god son had evolved and mutated. They were much stronger than before, especially after fusing with the cosmos gods. They became stronger and harder to kill. Qin Yun, ninth divine son situation is very complicated. If you rush in directly, it will be somewhat dangerous. Taisher warned Qin Yun. What kind of danger? Qin Yun was already flying towards the ninth divine sun day. You have to know that the energy of this super divine sun itself is very terrifying. Once this energy goes out of control, you won't be able to resist it. The energy of the other divine suns is restricted, but the ninth divine sun is not. Brother Taisher said, "Let me get closer to take a look first." When Qin Yun heard old Brother Taisher's words, he decided to be more cautious and not be rash. Half a day later, Qin Yun entered the region illuminated by the ninth divine sun's faint glow. Arriving here, he felt a very violent spatial fluctuation. The ninth divine sun hadn't completely come out because it was in another space. At this moment, it seemed like it was about to break through the spatial wall and come out. Even though they were separated by a very strong spatial wall, the ninth divine sun's rays still penetrated through and brought great benefits to divine desolate. In particular, the energy of the divine sun blood seed crystal allowed many living beings to enter the space transformation realm. There's a layer of space blocking it. Qin Yun said in astonishment. What space was the ninth divine sun formed in? Don't tell me it's going to be raised inside and then released. Each of the myriad worlds, divine sons, in the divine wilderness was different from the others. Some grew up from a young age, some suddenly grew big, and some grew strong in other universes before appearing in the deity desolate. Now that multiple universes had fused, the ninth divine son had to grow in an extremely powerful space. At the same time, it had to absorb a lot of energy from the universe in order to form such a huge ninth divine Sunday. Xiao Yuelon said before that there is a passage inside the divine sun that leads to the space where the ninth divine sun is located. Back then, Qin Yun believed that it was only the ninth divine sun's core. He never expected that the ninth divine sun had already formed and that it was so huge. It seems like there are still many mysteries in this universe. Old Brother Taisher said, for example, the birthplace of the ninth divine sun is definitely a domain that we have never known about. After approaching, Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye and could clearly see a small part of the ninth divine Sunday. This part touched the spatial wall and wanted to break through another space. Even though it was only a small part, the multicolored light was extremely powerful. Could there be a force preventing the ninth divine sun from coming over? Qin Yun was very curious. He finally knows why he can't contact Xiao Yuelon. After approaching the ninth divine sun, he can clearly sense that the spatial situation here is very complicated. If he wanted to open a stable spatial transmission channel, he could only rely on the little ant queen's power. Not only could the little ant queen bring Qin Yun into the dark space, she could also provide him with extremely powerful spatial energy. Qin Yun is high up in the sky. In front of him is a chaotic spatial fluctuation. He can't approach it. Even if he uses his most powerful strength, he can't break through the spatial wall in front of him and enter the ninth divine sun. He took out the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda and opened a spatial sound transmission array inside his body. This is used to communicate with Xiao Yuelon. The little ant queen has already flown out of the nine-sun divine soul and transferred energy to the spatial sound transmission array. With the little ant queen's help, Qin Yun amplified the power of the spatial sound transmission array and opened a stable spatial transmission channel. Furthermore, he successfully sensed Xiao Yuelon's spatial sound transmission array. Not long after, Qin Yun received Xiao Yuelon's voice. Xiao Yun, this is great. You finally found a way to contact me. Xiao Yuelon said in pleasant surprise. Yuelon, what's the situation on your side? Qin Yun hurriedly asked. The situation is very complicated. Xiao Yuelon sighed and said, this matter has exceeded our expectations. We don't know what to do. What about the nine-sun law spirit and the universe law spirit? Are they fighting over the control of the ninth divine sun? Qin Yun asked, are they fighting or what? All right, is that nine heavens law spirit in the ninth divine sun's core space? It would be great if they were fighting, but the problem is they have fused. Xiao Yuelon said, the nine-sun law spirit and the universe law spirit have fused into one. What? Qin Yun is dumbfounded. The irreconcilable nine-sun law spirit and the universe law spirit actually fused together? Although these two law spirits once cooperated, they later parted ways and fought each other for a very long time. It has already reached an irreconcilable point, but now they have fused together and it's such a crucial time. What's going on? Qin Yun understands that the complicated situation Xiao Yuelon is talking about is indeed unexpected. The nine-sun law spirit and the universe law spirit have both cultivated physical bodies, and they are both very powerful. These two guys admire each other's body very much. Then they started fighting, praising each other's body as they fought. They are both very greedy for each other's body. While fighting, they suddenly stopped and said, let's try fusing together. Maybe it will be more perfect, and we can even obtain each other's body. Then they fused together. When Xiao Yuelon mentioned this matter, she felt very helpless. Qin Yun is completely dumbfounded. The decision made by these two law spirits is too rash. He is suddenly worried that his body has been infatuated by these two law spirits. One must know that he is now a peak returning to beginning expert, His body is extremely powerful. Xiao Yun, I heard that your body is very powerful. The Nine Heaven Law Spirit is also here. He said that your body is very good. You must be careful. The Nine Heaven Law Spirit seems to be very greedy for your body. When Xiao Yuan said this, she also felt that it is very strange. I will pay attention. Qin Yun is not afraid of the Nine Heaven Law Spirit. Instead, he wants to fight with them and test his current strength. Yuan, where is the ninth divine sun? Qin Yun asked. It's in a very strange place. I heard from the Nine Sun Law Spirit and the Universe Law Spirit that this place is called the Universe's core. After they fuse together, they're controlling the ninth divine sun to rush out of the Universe's core, but they haven't been able to succeed. Qin Yun asked, Are you in any danger? Xiao Yulan's voice suddenly became angry as she said, The Universe God Race is here. Those guys are causing trouble, causing the ninth divine sun to be unable to rush out. Chapter 33:74. Qin Yun knew that Cosmos God Race would definitely take this opportunity to cause trouble. He felt that it is very strange. Why can Cosmos God Race people enter the Universe Core space? Yuan, how can I go to the Universe Core? I want to go in and help you. Qin Yun looked at the myriad realms' divine sun that was obstructed in coming into being. He only hoped that he could quickly deal with it, lest a long night brings many dreams. Let little Ant Queen bring you into the dark space. After entering, I will let UMA use a secret technique to release spatial ripples. After little Ant Queen senses it, just follow the spatial ripples. Xiao Yuan said, Quickly come in. I am afraid that those two fused magic spirits won't be able to hold on. Qin Yun immediately let little Ant Queen bring him into the dark space. After entering the dark space, little Ant Queen very seriously sensed the surrounding spatial ripples. Qin Yun also tried to sense, but the surrounding spatial ripples are very chaotic. He can't sense anything at all. Not long after, little Ant Queen discovered something. Brother Yun, I can sense it. Little Ant Queen lightly shouted. Bring me there immediately. Qin Yun promptly said. Little Ant Queen's entire body released golden light rays. The surrounding space began to fluctuate, and then a crack gradually appeared. Qin Yun was suddenly wrapped up by spatial power. It is the spatial membrane released by Little Ant Queen. It is very safe inside. Passing through some powerful spatial walls will not be torn apart by spatial power. After passing through a spatial wall, Qin Yun arrived at an incomparably dark space. It is as if he is in a void universe without any stars. Where am I? Qin Yun did not see the ninth divine sun, nor can he sense any energy fluctuation. Brother Yun, this is just a passage. Little Ant Queen said softly. I am following the spatial ripples released by Sister Yume. Qin Yun cannot sense any fluctuations, but Little Ant Queen can. At this moment, Qin Yun and Little Ant Queen are still inside the spatial bubble, slowly moving forward. Sometimes it is the front, sometimes it is the right. Little Ant Queen closed her eyes and very seriously controlled the direction. It seems like she can't even take a wrong step. Almost there, Little Ant Queen suddenly shouted. And Qin Yun immediately prepared to go to the universe core. There might be a great battle. The spatial bubble slowly passed through a fluctuating spatial wave. At the same time, Qin Yun immediately summoned the solar heaven shield to block in front of him, in case of any sudden attacks. There was no attack, but an incredibly powerful wave of energy rushed over. It wasn't that someone was attacking them, but that this place was filled with terrifying energy. Many streams of energy were moving violently, erupting with intense multicolored light, and then colliding with each other to produce energy light waves. Qin Yun immediately placed the Little Ant Queen into the Nine Sun Divine Spirit. Then he mobilized all of the Nine Sun Divine Spirit's Divine Sun energy to activate the Sun Heavenly Shield. Otherwise, he would not be able to block this energy. Once he was hit by it, a layer of his skin would definitely be shed. This is the Cosmos Core? What terrifying energy fluctuations! No wonder the ninth divine sun was born here. Qin Yun could not see the exact situation because he was surrounded by an incomparably intense glow. At this moment, he was in a space filled with violent energy, and there were powerful energy waves coming from all directions at every moment. Every energy wave carried a strong light and lightning, like a super strong attack. Qin Yun could barely block it with the sun heavenly shield. He opened his heavenly eye and carefully looked around. He was immediately shocked. He originally only wanted to see where the ninth divine sun was. But when he opened his heavenly eye and saw through the thick layer of energy, he saw that this space was filled with super huge divine suns. Every divine sun was bigger than the super divine sun he had seen before. A super divine sun of this size should have transformed into a super nether sun in the universe or even become an energy body. However, in this place, divine suns seemed to be able to grow without limit. There were many divine suns in the universe. Even if some of them were destroyed by the descendants of divine suns from time to time, there were still many divine suns. When he looked up into the sky, most of the starlight came from the divine suns that were far away. This cosmos core had actually gathered so many divine suns. The universe had always been collecting energy and then releasing it into the star Divine Sunday. There were many stars near the divine sun, and some of the stars would give birth to living beings. After many years, these divine suns would be destroyed, and the energy would return to the cosmos core. Furthermore, the universe could also collect human energy. So it was stored in the cosmos core and turned into so many huge divine suns. Which one is the ninth divine sun? Qin Yun is stunned. The divine suns here all seem to be the same size. He took out Xiao Yuelan's soul-chasing talisman, but there was no reaction at all. With so many divine suns, all kinds of energy would definitely affect one's perception. Old brother Taishu, do you have a way to find the ninth divine sun? Qin Yun took out the divine mirror of primordial beginning. Qin Yun, I think that every divine sun here has a living being, and they all have very strong soul fluctuations. Old brother Taishu suddenly said, "What? A living being? Could it be an existence like Little Horse?" Qin Yun was also given a fright. Not at all. Little Horse is formed from a small amount of energy in the core. And the divine sun here might be an entire divine sun that is about to transform into a living being. Old brother Taishu's voice is filled with fear. The super divine sun here is like a cocoon. Don't scare me. Qin Yun naturally knows how terrifying the energy of a super divine sun is. If the energy of an entire super divine sun were to transform into a living being, one could imagine how powerful it would be. Not to mention an entire super divine sun. Even 1% of it would be very terrifying. The ninth divine sun should be relatively small here, and to break through the space wall, it might be at the edge. Old brother Taishu said, "Do your best to release your heavenly eye to search. Your heavenly eye could be very powerful, but you have never used your heavenly eye to its fullest, right? Let Malheur help you. Heavenly eye mainly relies on mental power, coupled with lawless power. It can indeed be very powerful. Oh, right. In addition to Imperial Heaven Divine Art, when borrowing Malheur's mental power, you must use your Imperial Heaven Heart to transform it into lawless power." Old brother Taishu said again. All right. Qin Yun immediately contacted Malheur. Malheur immediately turned into red-haired Malheur and released her mental power with all her strength. Last time, Qin Yun borrowed Malheur's mental power, and his body was in extreme pain. But now, he doesn't feel any pain because his body has become a lot stronger. Moreover, he has also unearthed the power of his body. Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye with all his strength. Inside the universe core, he condensed a pair of super huge heavenly eye and looked down at the entire universe core. At this moment, in his mind, those super huge divine suns are as small balls. Not long after, he saw at the edge of the space, there is an even smaller ball that is trying very hard to wiggle out of the space wall. Chapter 3375. Seeing the small ball running out with all its might, it looked like a tiny dot, especially when compared to the surrounding gigantic divine suns. This small ball looked like a little brother. This is the 9th divine sun. Isn't it too small? Qin Yun originally thought that the 9th divine sun would be extremely huge because in the heart of the universe, divine suns were like giants. There weren't many divine suns as small as the 9th divine sun. When Qin Yun saw that there were so many divine suns here, it was impossible for him not to steal them. However, the divine suns here were very special. Although they erupted with very violent and powerful energy, they couldn't be absorbed. Originally, he had planned to come in later to absorb energy and use it to feed his 9-sun divine spirit. However, he had failed several times. He couldn't even devour and steal the energy, much less steal the divine suns here. Furthermore, he wasn't sure if the 9-sun divine spirit could contain such a gigantic divine Sunday. He had already flown towards the very small divine Sunday. However, such a small divine sun was indeed a very powerful existence to the divine desolate. This heart of a universe is truly a terrifying place. Qin Yun passed through the gigantic divine suns. He felt an incomparable scorching heat, but his heart felt a chill. Fortunately, he had previously used his heavenly eye to look down at these divine suns. He could see them all, so he wasn't that afraid now. The divine suns in the heart of the universe were rotating on their own. At the same time, they were floating at a very slow speed. Even such a small movement would erupt with extremely violent energy. Incomparably powerful energy storms were everywhere. If not for Qin Yun's sun heavenly shield, he would have long been burned to ashes by the incomparably scorching energy. If these divine suns move quickly, what will happen in the end? Qin Yun thought to himself. Qin Yun, did you see the center just now? Brother Taisher suddenly asked. Center? There's no divine sun in the center. I didn't see anything even though there's a very strong light enveloping it. Qin Yun said, the energy of these divine suns should have been devoured by the center. If you observe carefully, you will discover that these countless divine suns are slowly rotating around the center. Brother Taisher said, the center has a very strong devouring power. Qin Yun was alarmed. What kind of thing could devour the energy of such a divine sun? Don't go to the center. It's definitely very dangerous there. Taisher instructed, let's go to the 9th divine sun first. Qin Yun is currently flying over. He is unable to use fast speed, nor can he use spatial travel. He can only use the sun heavenly shield to block the shock waves and fly over with great difficulty. The heart of the universe was very mysterious. Qin Yun could sense that a powerful nomological force enveloped the area and maintained its operations. This power was most likely the power of the universe itself, mysterious and illusory. The cosmos law spirit should have been born in this place. He was chosen and has always maintained the operation of the cosmos law here. He is a magical spirit, so he can't leave this place completely. Once he successfully transforms into a human, he can leave. But once he leaves, what will happen to this place? Brother Taisher said, if he leaves, won't the core of the universe go out of control? Will it affect the entire universe? Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye and looked at the behemoths around him. A chill surged in his heart. If these divine suns lost control and ran around, wouldn't he be in danger in this damn place? Can you still see the 9th divine sun? Old Brother Taisher hurriedly asked. Can we rush over as fast as we can? The 9th divine sun can't leave that quickly, right? I will definitely be able to rush over. Qin Yun suddenly had an ominous premonition. The cosmos law spirit had already fused with the 9 suns law spirit. Now that the cosmos law spirit had transformed into a human, it was equivalent to completely giving up his transcendent position in the heart of the universe. He wanted to go out in search of freedom and transcend the universe. Once he successfully left this place, the heart of the universe would definitely enter a temporary state of disorder. The consequences would be unimaginable. This was what Qin Yun was worried about. Therefore, he desperately sped up and headed for the ninth divine sun. He had to leave the heart of the universe with the ninth divine sun. He could not be trapped here. The little queen ant could bring him in, but she couldn't bring him out because the space inside was extremely complicated and powerful. It far exceeded the scope of the little queen ant's power. Qin Yun desperately flew for half a day before opening his super heavenly eye to take a look. He discovered that the ninth divine sun had already passed through the spatial wall. What's going on? Qin Yun's worst fears came true. It was naturally a good thing that the ninth divine sun could successfully descend into the divine wilderness. But the problem was that Qin Yun was still here. Once the cosmos law spirit left, this damned place would fall into chaos. F***ck me, Qin Yun cursed in his heart. He clearly came here to help the ninth divine sun smoothly descend into the divine wilderness. But now, it seems like he didn't need his help at all. Or perhaps, he should have stayed in the divine wilderness and waited for the ninth divine sun to descend before going in to help. Qin Yun finally understood why Xiekaru and the others didn't want him to intervene, but he felt that he needed to intervene. Xiao Yuelon also felt the same way. He now knew his mistake. He shouldn't have secretly plotted with Yuelon on this matter. Don't go. Wait for me, Qin Yun shouted, but it was completely useless. Just like that, under the gaze of his super heavenly eye, the ninth divine sun squeezed out of the spatial wall with great difficulty and disappeared into the heart of the universe. Qin Yun, the worst thing has happened, but you must calm down, old brother Taisher said. Maybe this isn't a bad thing for you. Suddenly, the super huge divine sun's movement speed became very fast. Previously, these divine suns would move in one direction in an orderly manner. But now they suddenly sped up and rushed up, down, left, and right. Boom, boom, boom. Some divine suns even collided with each other, causing intense energy to gush out. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Qin Yun used all his strength to activate the sun heavenly shield. Moreover, there are several layers of it that tightly wrapped around him. This kind of incomparably huge divine sun collision not only caused energy to erupt, but also the fragments of the divine sun. That is the most terrifying thing. As soon as the universe's lost spirit left this place, it indeed fell into disorder and became very chaotic. Qin Yun is like a grain of sand, continuously attacked by the eruption of energy. He is like a small boat in the raging and roaring vast ocean. The ninth divine sun appeared in the divine wilderness. The 9 myriad realms' divine suns have finally arrived. However, the divine king of the divine wilderness is absent at the most important moment. Xiao Yuelon came out of the ninth divine sun and immediately took out the soul-chasing talisman and the devil mirror to contact Qin Yun. However, she couldn't contact him. She is certain that Qin Yun is still in the heart of the universe. Little husband, your wife has tricked you badly. Your life is so tough. You should be able to survive, right? Xiao Yuelon immediately felt a headache. She is extremely worried. Big sister, is big brother still in that damn place? Xiao Yueme looks like she did something bad. She lowered her head and timidly said, Go tell Sister Kiru and others. Let them think of a way to save Big Brother. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.